producer, and sure enough, we have got some pretty impressive hail returns coming from the storm. In fact, 2-inch in diameter hail also being produced by the storm. So in addition to heavy rain, dangerous lightning, and the potential for a tornado, we also know that it's producing some large hail. 2-inch in diameter hail is actually hen egg sized hail. So that is potentially damaging to property and lives as well as it moves through the southern part of Mid-County, targeting the southern part of Pike County as well. The storm really right along the state line right now, progressing to the east at about 50 miles per hour. We're going to clear this up just a little bit, and we're going to zoom in right on the storm. We'll take those hail tracks off, and the storm, again, is right there. It's just to the east of Phelps and Felixville in Louisiana, and approaching the town of Gillsburg, which I believe is in Mid-County. So as we zoom in, you'll see a couple of those streets right there coming out of Gillsburg. That is Highway 568, Highway 584, and Highway 568. Let's see how close it is. If it's moving at 50 miles per hour, it is only about 10 miles or 11 minutes away from approaching the community of Gillsburg. And then, of course, after that, it's going to be approaching the Pike County line. So let's draw another arrow here. There's where your rotation is. Past Gillsburg, it's going to be crossing over from Amite into Pike County in about 20 minutes. It's about 16 miles away from doing that, and it looks like, to me, it should be somewhere along Interstate 55 between Magnolia and Osika in likely about 20 minutes time. So get to your safe spot and stay there until this storm is past. Now we'll send it back over to Jacob.
And so again, right now we are joining you here because we have a tornado warning in South Mississippi. I want to show you live IMAX 12 central Mississippi wide. We have heavy rainfall now moving into the Jackson Metro, Vicksburg areas all the way down to Brookhaven. Most of this is not severe. Our severe weather threat this evening is now focused in South Mississippi. This is our first tornado warning of the day for central Mississippi, and it includes Magnolia, Osika, Chautauqua, and portions of southern Pike County, southern and Mid-County until 7 p.m. It's right here along the state line, and we're also seeing some damaging hail with this up to egg size. So significant hail with this, and this is a very favorable environment, as the National Weather Service is saying here that South Mississippi is a very favorable environment. We haven't had storms in Marion, Forest, or down here in Jeff Davis or Covington County all day long, so we have lots of storm fuel here as this storm is moving in that direction. And so the National Weather Service is saying there's nothing stopping this storm from becoming a long-track tornado. So we're going to have to watch this closely. Also, the storm just to the north of it, broad rotation moving towards Lincoln County. And so we're going to continue to watch this situation for Pike County. Again, a tornado warning continues until 7 p.m. So again, if you are in southern Pike County, Macomb is not included in this warning. However, areas to the south of Highway 98 are. So if you have a Macomb address and you're, say, south of 24 or south of Highway 98, you still need to be seeking shelter. That means an interior room, as many walls between you and the storm as possible on the lowest level of your home. And we do have confirmation from the emergency manager there that sirens are going off county-wide in Pike County to give people a heads up. And again, as Ken mentioned, we're giving you a decent lead time here as this tornado is still likely back here along just to the south of Beechwood along the county line. Here's the rotation. I will circle it for you. And again, it looks like it's going to be tracking pretty close to Osika or Magnolia, extreme southern portions of the county. And so we're going to have to watch this closely as it moves off towards the east at about 50 miles per hour. Now, the polygon for this includes a lot of communities here in southern Pike County: Fernwood, Jennings, Irene, Terry's Creek, Chautauqua, Osika, Emerald. Progress is not technically included, but areas along 575 are. So this is tornado polygon, includes all areas south of Highway 98 here in Pike County and portions south of Beechwood here in Amite County. So this is the red tornado warning polygon that goes until 7 p.m. and everyone in this shaded red area needs to be seeking their tornado shelter right now. So we're continuing to watch right now the rotation here. It's broad, but it's still looking like we could have the potential tornado right here. It would be, if it's here, it's going to be right along the state line moving towards the Gillsburg area. Again, Terry's Creek and Chautauqua and Osika likely going to have the highest threat from this storm within the next 15 minutes. Now, as we check on our debris tracker, the good news is right now I am not seeing any signs of major debris or debris ball from this. However, this is very far away from the radar. in a relatively unpopulated spot here along the state line right now. So we're going to have to monitor this. A very electric storm, though. Lots of lightning. This is going to be a significant storm moving towards Magnolia. Just to the north of this, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Meadville, south of Meadville and McCall Creek, heading towards the Bogachita area. The good news is not seeing any too tight rotation with this storm as well. So right now, again, that tornado warning continues here for southern Pike and Mitt County until 7 p.m. And again, it looks like we're now getting some reports of some hail down there in South Mississippi. So we're going to continue to monitor this situation. We're going to be with you for the next 45 minutes. A tornado warning continues for southern Pike and Mitt County until 7 p.m. And for another angle on this storm, I'm going to send it back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South.
Yeah, Jacob, we're going to be with you for at least the next 45 minutes until the expiration of this warning, which is at the top of the hour at 7 p.m. But it may be longer because, as Jacob mentioned, we're in an environment where this really could keep going. We could see another one of those long track tornadoes. Now, we don't know that it's on the ground right now, but if it does reach the ground again, there's a potential for one of those long track tornadoes where we could be covering this for more than an hour as it moves through South Mississippi and eventually once again into the Pine Belt. You should also know that we're analyzing this from the closest radar site, and in this case, that is not Jackson. It's actually the radar site coming out of New Orleans, actually the Slidell area. So you'll see the arm of the radar coming in from the south. So that's important to know because when we take a look at the velocity, you're going to need to know which direction those winds are moving. So right now we're just looking at the radar, just the reflectivity. We're looking at the heavy rain being produced by the storm and also the tremendous amount of lightning strikes. Again, another dangerous part of the storm in this box here from Kentwood, mostly over the southeastern part of Mitt County and over a little portion of Louisiana as well. We're looking at 344 lightning strikes. So this storm is not going to sneak up on you. You're going to know that the storm is headed your way. You're going to see a ton of lightning. You're going to hear a lot of thunder. But I do believe the tornado, if one is being produced, could be rain wrapped. So we don't want folks to go out and start looking for this storm. If you're in Tylertown or Magnolia, we don't want you to go out to look off to the west to see if you can see it because you're likely not going to see anything because it could be a rain wrapped storm. And also because of the terrain here, we're going to see a lot of trees. We've got some hills in this area. So we just want you to get in that safe spot and stay there until we tell you that the storm is either weakened and the warning's been canceled or it's already past your area. Now, remember the tornado warning, and we'll put that back on here. The tornado warning is right there. It's in this red polygon right here, and that is only for now just for Pike County. Basically along Interstate 55, south Macomb for Magnolia, Osika, Chattawa, those areas. But if this is extended, it's going to be extended into Walthall County. So if you're not under a tornado warning now, you could be within the hour if you live in places like Salem and Tylertown in southern Walthall County. So we want you to pay attention to that. Again, maybe not warned for right now, but you could be very soon. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking at the velocity now as being analyzed by the radar in New Orleans. So Bruce, let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen. And what we're looking for here is, of course, the winds that are moving in opposite directions, close to one another. And you see the reds and the greens, they're touching one another. There's nothing in between. So we're looking at wind moving towards Slidell here, and then wind moving away from Slidell, approaching the community of Gillsburg, and we can query some of these wind speeds. The negative 37 means those are winds that are inbound toward the radar site. That's what the negative 37 is. The positive 16, those are winds that are outbound from the radar site. So we know right in here, that's where we've got a rotation, just on the Mississippi side of the Louisiana-Mississippi state line in extreme southeastern of Mitt County, moving to the east at about 50 miles per hour. So if we know where that rotation is and we know that it is right in this area, we will circle it and we'll push it back over to the left portion of the screen, and we'll zoom in just a little bit here so we can get a closer look in on the tornado warned area. And then we're going to track this off to the east at about 50 miles per hour. I'm just going to take it all the way to the county line of Pike and Walthall counties So these are the towns that are now going to be in the path of the storm, just within the cone that I drew. Now, a larger area is actually in the official tornado warning, and I do believe sirens are sounding countywide. Just play it safe. If you can hear the sirens, you're going to be close enough to the storm that you still want to take shelter right now, getting into that safe spot. But especially if you live in these communities that are directly in the path of the storm. We're looking at Galesburg at about 6:21. Your current time is 6:19, so it's right over Galesburg right now. That's a community that we've already mentioned a couple of times right there in extreme southeastern and mid-county. Farther downstream, farther to the east, we're looking at Terry's Creek, which is in Pike County, then Osika at 6:34, Gladhurst at 6:41, and Progress at about 6:44. All of those locations are in the southern half of Pike County. If you live in or near any of these communities that I just mentioned, you need to go ahead and get in that safe spot, because this storm is going to be passing across your area over the next several minutes. Again, the time is right now 6:20, and we're looking at the storm moving from Galesburg right now to Progress at about 6:44. So that's between now and 6:45, which is only about the next 20 to 25 minutes. If you live along Interstate 55 and to the east of there, you do have some time to get to that safe spot. So we want you to not waste any time and get there right now. If you live in a mobile home, not a good place to be. You need to get to the closest sturdy structure to a small interior room on the lowest floor and stay there until this is done. Also, you don't want to be in a vehicle when a storm like this is moving through. Heavy rain could flood the roadways. We're also looking at very strong winds, which of course can roll and topple cars and mobile homes. So that's why we say get underground to a storm shelter or basement. If you don't have that sturdy structure, lowest floor, interior room, staying away from windows, do that right now if you live in those communities, and also along Interstate 55, Highway 51, Highway 575, and Highway 48 between Magnolia and Progress, and again that's Highway 48 leading into Walthall County. Tornado warning. Let's go ahead and take a look at the reflectivity once again. We'll check out the lightning. We'll have to adjust the size of that so you can see what's happening there on the radar. And again, an extremely intense storm quickly approaching Interstate 55, and there's a potential for rotation. It's a radar indicated rotation, so we don't know that there's a tornado on the ground, but there could be very soon if there is not already. So because of that, a tornado warning has been prompted by the National Weather Service out of New Orleans for parts of Amite and Pike counties that will be in effect until 7 p.m. Jacob, I'll send it back over to you.
Thanks, Ken. I wanted to give an update now to areas across central Mississippi. Again, our severe weather threat right now is isolated to Lincoln, Franklin, and Pike counties in South Mississippi, where we have warnings in effect. Right now, across the metro, back towards Vicksburg, the Mississippi River, and areas to the north, we're certainly having some heavy rainfall and frequent lightning, gusty winds, but no severe weather right now. Some heavy rainfall moving through downtown Jackson, Crystal Springs, all the way back towards Vicksburg. So we're watching these areas for gusty winds. Our main severe weather threat, though, is still off to the south. In fact, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Lincoln County, southern Lincoln County. So Bogue Chitto included in this until 7 p.m. as this storm is moving east at about 35 miles per hour. And the main threat with this is going to be damaging winds. We're seeing a little bit of a broad rotation in this, but that is not a tornadic currently. We're watching this closely, but what it is doing is it's supporting the potential for some medium-sized hail right now along Highway 98. That's our hail core moving towards Highway 55 and Highway 51 pretty shortly. So we are seeing some gusty winds moving in with this storm, and as we query these, up to 60, 70 miles per hour winds now moving into southern Lincoln County, and that's going to be impacting areas within the next 15 minutes likely. So as we go now to South Mississippi here in Pike County, this is the polygon, the tornado warning polygon that goes until 7 p.m., including Magnolia, Fernwood, Jennings, Terry's Creek, Osika, Chautauqua, and portions of Progress and West Holmesville, and this goes until 7 p.m. Now as we turn on our wind wind mode. Our velocity product, this is kind of showing us where the winds are and how they're responding in this storm. So they are rotating here. Broad rotation, though. It looks like that this may have, the circulation may have weakened or trying to recycle here. So that's a little bit of good news. It may have been jogging just a little bit up towards the north here. Let's kind of play this velocity back. So back here is where we had that tight rotation, and as it's moving off towards the east, now we're seeing still that broad rotation, probably going to be, again, right here in the polygon between Magnolia and Osika, even down to Kentwood is where we could be seeing that. And as we query these winds, we're still seeing them strong enough to prompt this tornado warning. So we're having 60-mile-per-hour winds coming towards the radar, 20-mile-per-hour winds coming away from the radar. When we add that up, that's 80 miles per hour of broad rotation in this storm that's pushing off towards the east. So certainly strong enough to produce a tornado. Right now, though, we're looking at the mid-levels, and we can't really see the surface because this is very far away from our radar site here in the Brandon area. So as we look at the radar here, we're still seeing lots of lightning, heavy rainfall as that tornado warning continues now until 7 p.m. Macomb is not included in this, though Magnolia, Chautauqua, and Osika are, and this goes until 7 p.m. as this storm moving off towards the east. Now, as Ken has mentioned, this is a very favorable environment for tornadoes. We haven't had storms down towards McGee, Collins, Hattiesburg, Marion County. We haven't had storms here all day long since early on this morning. So the atmosphere has had a long time. It's actually had some sunshine early afternoon. A lot of storm fuel has now built up. And so there is nothing that could stop this from continuing to track off towards essentially Columbia, Walthall County, Lamar, and Forest County. So we're going to have to watch this closely. This is the first line here near Brookhaven down to Macomb. These two storms we're going to have to watch for rotation as they track off towards the east. Unfortunately, this is the exact same area that saw those long track tornadoes exactly a week ago last Sunday. So we're going to have to watch these areas closely. If you know folks that still are without power here in South Mississippi, go ahead and give them a call, a phone call. Hopefully they are alert that these severe thunderstorms with potential for tornadoes are now moving into that area. Lots of lightning in these electric storms. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Lincoln County and a tornado warning now for southern Pike County that goes in both of them going until 7 p.m. Now it looks like that we're watching kind of two areas of rotation, kind of a broad area of rotation here approaching Lincoln County. So we're going to have to keep an eye on both of these storms, though of course the tornado warning continues and is now likely moving out of Amite County towards Pike County over the next couple of minutes here. So as we kind of zoom in here, we just want to take you down to street level. If we have a tornado on the ground, it's likely going to be near Huron, Mixon, Gillsburg, moving very quickly towards Terry's Creek, Magnolia, and Chautauqua here. So likely somewhere along Highway 568, pushing off towards the east at about 50 miles per hour rather. And so if you live along Hampley Road, Centerville Road, Magnolia Progress Road, some of these areas, you need to be seeking your safe place right now. Hopefully everyone in southern Pike County is in their tornado safe place. That means an interior room, as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and on the lowest level of your home. Now to look at our radar for this tornado warning, I'm going to send it back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South.
All right, thank you, Jacob. We're going to put this into motion for you so you can see the progress of this storm. This is a radar loop over the past hour, so it is moving almost directly from west to east. There may be just a little bit of a northern component here, but basically storms coming in from the west fairly quickly. I mean, these storms are moving at a rapid pace at about 50 miles per hour. So again, it's not going to give you a whole lot of time. We're also approaching sunset. The sun's going to be down here in about an hour or so. Storms are likely going to be rain wrapped. So visibility is not going to be good out there. We do not want you to get out and try to watch or chase these storms out there. Don't try to find them. We just want you to get to that safe spot and stay there until all is said and done. And even as this line passes through, there's going to be another line coming in behind it right now that's stretching through Louisiana. So we're going to be in this, it looks like, for the rest of this evening through at least about 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. And as Jacob was mentioning, look at this area ahead of the storm where the atmosphere is, it's unstable here. So it's moving into an environment where it could keep going over the next 30 minutes or hour or even longer. Now, we don't know that there's a tornado on the ground yet, but if there is, or if one is put down by the storm, it can conceivably be one of those long track tornadoes that is going to be around for quite some time. So please pay very close attention to this storm as we track it off to the east. Right now, you're not under a tornado warning in Walthall County or in Marion County or in Lamar or Forest, but you could be soon within the next, let's say, 30 minutes to an hour or even more. So let's go ahead and take a look at Live Eye Max 2 full screen. Notice at the top here, this is our New Orleans radar. The warnings are coming from New Orleans, and this area is actually closer to their radar site. So we're going to analyze this from there. So you've seen the reflectivity, the part of the storm that is rotating is going to be right back in here. So again, there's rain all around the storm. You're not going to see it as it approaches your area quickly to the east at about 50 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the lightning. And as you can imagine, we have got a ton of lightning with the storm. Lightning is an indication that we've got a lot of motion in the atmosphere, that we've got ice, colder temperatures in the upper levels of those thunderstorms at the top of the thunderstorms. And that's an indication, again, that it's very intense. So you see a cluster of lightning strikes like that, you know you've got a bad storm moving in your direction. And within this red box that I just drew from Bogachita all the way down to the Louisiana state line, we're looking at about almost 1,000 lightning strikes. So another reason to stay indoors and take cover as this storm is moving through your area. And let's go ahead and take a look at the hail that has been produced by the storm. Now we're looking at the hail tracks. This is what has been happening with the storm. Remember, when it was crossing from Louisiana into a mid-county in Mississippi, we were estimating 2-inch in diameter hail, which is about hen egg in size. I don't think it's that bad now. We're looking at the current hail with this, and let's go ahead and take a look and query that. And we're looking at a hail core that's a little bit closer to about 1 inch in diameter. That's about quarter-sized hail or smaller now coming from the storm. But it is a hail producer. It is a heavy rain producer. It's a lightning producer. And it could be a tornado producer as well. Because, again, we're going to analyze this from our radar site coming out of New Orleans. And as we get a closer look in, we're still watching for the reds and the greens there, denoting winds moving in opposite directions. The green, that's wind moving toward the radar site, and the red is moving away. It doesn't appear to be a tight couplet right now, but there is still at least a rotation there within this storm from Irene back over to Terry Creek. So because of that, we're going to circle where there is a rotation here, and going to push it back over to the left portion of the screen, and we're going to track it out to the east at its current forward motion at about 50 miles per hour. So let's draw a cone here, and we're going to take this actually to about Tylertown, and I believe that's Highway 98. Let's see, that's, yeah, Highway 98, which runs through Tylertown. So this is going to take it over the next, let's say, about 30 minutes or so until the top of the hour. Now, the warning is for Pike County through the top of the hour, but it's moving so quickly that I think it's going to be past the official warned area and possibly into the southeastern part of Pike County and into Walthall County as we get closer to the 7 o'clock hour. But these towns, these communities, you see them popping up in the cone there, are going to be in the path of the storm. Once again, Terry's Creek, it's really right over there right now. But farther downstream, Emerald, you still got a few minutes there. If you live in Emerald, Vaught's, or Tylertown, you've got a good 20 to 30 minutes to get into your safe spot. If you live in Tylertown, if you live west of there, you, of course, have less time before the storm is right on top of you. So let's get an even closer look in to the Pike County area. And some of these streets are going to be popping in here that are going to be affected by the storm. So let's go ahead and track some of these streets right there. This is, of course, Interstate 55. This is Highway 51. And we're looking at Highway 548 in southern Pike County. So, again, get into your safe spot. Terry's Creek, Chattawa, Osika, Magnolia, and then farther to the east in Emerald, Gladhurst, and Progress, the storm is moving in your direction. Let's go ahead and take a look at this from the Jackson perspective. And again, of course, you're just seeing the heavy rain right there. Let's take a look at, see if we're seeing anything that shows us where rotation might be as we're looking at it from Jackson. And again, it's right there, right around the county line from Emmett into Pike County. Now, of course, because we're analyzing this from Jackson, the colors are reversed because we're not looking at it from the south, we're now looking at it from the north. So the red still means that those are winds moving away from the radar site, and the green towards. So still some circulation right in about this area, moving to the east at about 50 miles per hour. Jacob, I'll send it back over to you.
Okay, thanks, Ken. I'm also monitoring a storm just to the north of that. That is a severe thunderstorm warning in southern Lincoln County right now. Bogue Chitto, Center Point, Wilkinson, Wellman, Ruth, Thayer. This is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 7 p.m. But when I switch on our wind mode or velocity, we're also seeing some of the potential for rotation back between Center Point and Bogue Chitto. This could be upgraded to a tornado warning. So we can't forget that here in Lincoln County, we're watching this potential rotation. If it is a possible tornado, it would be trying to put down here near Bogue Chitto Road, moving toward Northfield and Bogue Chitto pretty shortly. Summit Drive, Bogue Chitto Road, Highway 51 and Interstate 55. Please seek shelter. Let's go ahead and treat this like a tornado warning because we have some broad rotation now approaching Bogue Chitto, Northfield, Wilkinson, and Wellman. This is moving off towards the east now at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. And we're going to have to monitor this storm as well up here to the north. Not quite as tight as the storm off towards the south, but nevertheless, we have some rotation here in southern Lincoln County. If you live in this polygon, again, Bogue Chitto, areas off towards the west, Wellman, Ruth, Wilkinson, East Lincoln, please seek shelter. Let's go ahead and treat this like a tornado warning. We have broad rotation moving towards the east. So areas in southern Lincoln County, this severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado continues until 7 o'clock. Now, our tornado warning polygon for southern Pike County has been trimmed back slightly. Areas south of Magnolia now included in this, including Chautauqua, Osika, Emerald, and areas west of Progress along 575 rather. And this polygon continues for the next 25 minutes. So we're watching rotation in this that continues to tighten up now. It looks like we could have the potential for a tornado here right now in Chautauqua and Osika. This is moving towards Emerald, Gladhurst, Progress. Please seek shelter right now. You have about 5 minutes or less before this storm arrives. And when we look at our debris mode, it's very messy here. We can't see a defined debris signature because of this is very far away from the Doppler radar here in the Jackson Metro. But still, we're looking at tight rotation here on Live IMAX 12. And this has increased in the past couple of minutes as we go back in time here. Notice these reds kind of faded out here, almost a gray color. And then we now have a bright red just between Chautauqua and Osika here close to these bright greens. So as we zoom in here, again, this is going to be right now approaching Centerville Road, Pike 93 South towards Emerald and Gladhurst. And I want to query or show you these winds, how fast they are rotating. And we're seeing winds 30 miles per hour coming to the south, 65 miles per hour to the north. That's nearly 95 miles per hour of rotation that we're seeing now along Pike Highway 93 South, along 575, moving towards Gladhurst. Chautauqua and Osika should be in their safe place right now as this possible tornado is moving overhead. So that is the one storm that is tornado warned now in southern Pike County that goes for the next 25 minutes here across South Mississippi. Lots of lightning in the storm as well. Very electric storm moving off towards the east. And again, as we've been mentioning downstream, we're going to have to continue to watch this moving off towards the east, towards the Tylertown area. Southern Walthall County would be next in line for this tornado if it is extended downstream. Now, again, we continue to watch the severe thunderstorm warning in southern Lincoln County. And as we check in on the rotation there, we're still seeing the potential for maybe a brief spin up approaching the Bogue Chitto area. So we're going to have to watch this south of West Lincoln, moving towards Bogue Chitto, Thayer, Wellman, and Northfield here over the next couple of minutes. That's where a severe thunderstorm warning continues. Again, just to remind folks that across central Mississippi, a lot of our severe weather threat is now turning into a flooding threat. If you're north of I-20, severe weather threat has come to a close. South of Interstate 20, though, that's where we're continuing to see the severe damaging wind threat and the potential for some tornadoes. We did get an update from the National Weather Service on the tornado watch. Just want to let folks know areas south of I-20 are still included in this until 7 p.m. We may be extending this another 2 hours. They're saying this is now going until 9 p.m. for South Mississippi. But areas like Canton, Carthage, Yazoo City no longer under a tornado watch as we head into this evening. But we're still watching tight rotation now down near Osika and Magnolia. And I'm going to send it back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South.
All right, thank you, Jay. Jacob, we still do have another about 22 minutes on this tornado warning, although I do think it's likely at this point that it will be extended fairly soon because the rotating part of this cell is pretty close to the edge of that warning polygon. We're looking at it right over Osika right now and along Highway 51, which runs north and south parallel to Interstate 55, and then Highway 575 runs into Osika from Progress. It's moving over that area right now. We were actually going to show you a traffic camera from Osika along Interstate 55, but as this rolled through, it knocked out the camera, so we can't do that. But trust us, it was pretty dramatic. The heavy rain and the wind that we were seeing on that traffic camera on Interstate 55 leading into the state of Louisiana. On the Mississippi side, though, near Osika. So certainly some damaging winds possible with the storm. Jacob just showed you with the rotation there. We could see the potential for up to 90-mile-per-hour winds if this is actually putting down a tornado. Again, it's still radar indicated, which means that we're obviously seeing a rotation here indicated by radar, but we still don't know if there's anything actually reaching the ground, although obviously the potential is there. And because of that, the tornado warning is in effect until 7 o'clock for parts of Pike County. So here's a look at the tornado warning. It's this red polygon right here, and this is what I'm talking about. It's soon going to be out of the polygon area. In fact, rotating part of the storm is there. It's going to be right at the edge of the polygon in about 6 minutes, which would be at about 6:45. Well, the warning officially goes until 7 o'clock. So as we approach 6:45, there you go. This is exactly what I was expecting. They were going to have to issue another warning a little bit farther downstream, and that's exactly what has happened now right along the state line. So now all of southern Pike County is under a tornado warning. Let's go ahead and query this for you. And this tornado warning is going to be in effect until 7:45. The storm is now moving to the east at about 50 miles per hour. There is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Osika, and it is moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. So now Tylertown, you are in this new tornado warning until 7:45, which is just a little over an hour from right now. If you live along and south of Highway 98 in Walthall County, you are under the tornado warning and you need to take shelter right now. So the tornado warning has been extended farther to the east to include Walthall County and this part of Louisiana here as well. So if you're in Marion County, you're next in line. Remember, if this holds together, and there's a really good chance that it could, once we get past about, let's say, 7:15 or 7:30, it could be extended eastward into your area as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at Live Eye Max 2 full screen, and we'll go ahead and take a look at this storm. We'll get a close-up look at what is happening here, and we're analyzing this from the radar site now in Jackson. And because of that, when we zoom in here, you'll see some of these streets that are popping up here that are going to be in the path of the storm. Right now, I think the rotating part of this severe thunderstorm is now just to the east of Osika, should be right around the Gladhurst to Progress to Emerald area, moving toward Smithburg, south of Progress Lexi Road, and eventually it's going to be getting into places like in Walthall County, Lexi and Dillon and Lair and Simmons, those communities along Highway 27, and then also south of Progress Lexi Road. You're going to be in the path of the storm. So it's moving right along the state line to the east, and if it's on either side of the line, I think it's on the Mississippi side of the state line there with Louisiana. So we know where that rotation is. We can clearly see it right there, right around the Gladhurst to Progress area. Remember now it is moving to the east at about 50 miles per hour. That's a little bit of a faster speed, so we're going to take it out over the next 20 minutes to the east, and these places are in the path of the storm. We're looking at Smithburg at about 6:46, Dillon at 6:51, Simmons at 6:54, Lexi Baptist Church at 6:55, and Kirkland at nearly the top of the hour at just before 7 o'clock. So if you live in or near any of those locations that I just mentioned, or any of those highways, or really the southern part of Walthall County and southeastern Pike County, hopefully you're already in that safe spot. Now, all afternoon we've been talking about downloading the WHLT news and weather apps. Hopefully you did that earlier this afternoon. If you did, you can take the streaming live severe weather coverage with you on your smart device to your safe spot. You don't have to sit in front of the television set if that's not the best place to be. So go ahead and take that smartphone with you, your iPad, whatever it is, with you to your safe spot and watch us from there so you can keep track of where this storm is actually going. So let's clear this up a little bit again, and we're going to zoom right on in to the area being affected by the storm right now. So it's really right on top of Gladhurst to Progress to Smithburg, and you see all of these roads that are popping up here just to the east of where we have that rotation. I'll name off a few. Joe Tucker Road, Silver Road, Smithburg Road, and this is Birch Road, Welsh, Magnolia Road, Hoover Road. Once we cross over into Walthall County and get closer to the community of Dillon, we're looking at Brockdale Road and Breland Road, as well as Lair Crossing as we get closer to Highway 25. All of those areas, in just the next few minutes, we'll see this severe thunderstorm with rotating winds passing on through. So because of that, get to that safe spot, stay there. A little bit farther to downstream, east of Tylertown, we're looking at Kirkland, Flowers, Knoxo, and generally along Highway 48 in Walthall County being affected by this severe thunderstorm, capable of producing a tornado and also large hail. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hail being produced, and it looks like it is ramping up once again. Let's go ahead and query the hail size with the storm, and it is definitely over now an inch in diameter. That is just to the east of Osika, moving toward, I believe that was Smithville. Let's see, 1 inch to 1 1/4 inch in diameter hail. That's about quarter to $half sized hail, and that is, yeah, Smithburg, excuse me, Progress and Smithburg. That should be happening right now in your area, and that's soon going to be moving towards Lexi and Lair and Dillon and Simmons in southern Walthall County. So rotating winds within a severe thunderstorm, lots of heavy rain, dangerous lightning strikes, and large damaging hail being produced by this storm as it moves to the east at about 50 miles per hour. A little bit farther to the north, we're still looking at a severe thunderstorm right here for Lincoln County, also until 7 o'clock. And looks like some broad rotation still may be possible with this cell near Bogachita, as it is also moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. But for right now, the main threats with this storm a little bit farther to the north are 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. The reason we're on air right now is because of this more intense storm with the rotating winds right there moving through southeastern parts of Pike County. As we take a look at the velocity, which is the wind speed and the wind direction, very easy to tell that we have got winds moving in opposite directions here. Again, it's not a really tight couplet, but we're definitely seeing those signs of rotation right there. Let's say around Progress, or maybe just a little bit to the east of there, quickly approaching the county line. Let's see, let's plug in 50 miles per hour, and we'll see how close this is to crossing Highway 27 in Walthall County, south of Tylertown. It's about 7 miles. We're about 8 minutes away from doing that. South of Tylertown, south of Highway 98, if you live in Lexi, Kirkland, Simmons, or Flowers, please take shelter right now. Jacob, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Yeah, again, so a tornado possible right now moving into southern Walthall County out of southern Pike County. And this is the very favorable environment that we've been talking about. Our warm front right now still sitting along I-20. The highest tornado risk is now across South Mississippi, moving into the Pine Belt pretty quickly. In fact, Ken, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a mesoscale discussion, an area of interest here from Macomb back to Hattiesburg, saying this is a region we now have to watch for strong tornadoes over the next couple hours, as our tornado threat that we've been advertising for today has finally materialized, as this line of strong thunderstorms is now moving into a favorable environment that has stayed dry for most of the day. So the storm fuel has really built up, and we're now getting some of that wind shear or turning in the winds. And so we're now seeing the potential for tornadoes across South Mississippi. So again, the metro right now not included any severe weather, but South Walthall County, Tylertown areas to the south on Highway 27. Again, a tornado warning continues until 7:45 for Pike and Walthall counties, and this rotation has certainly been strengthening. Now very tight right now near Progress, and it is pushing off towards the east at about 50 miles per hour. So again, Tylertown, Lexi, Lure, Siemens, Kirkland, Mesa, please seek shelter right now. If you live anywhere to the south of Highway 98 in southern Walthall County, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now, because we have 2 rotating spots that could produce a tornado at any time, and there could be a tornado on the ground right now. We don't have a spotter in the area to confirm or deny that, and so we're going to treat this like there's a tornado on the ground. National Weather Service saying that this is the potential for areas where we could see strong long-track tornadoes over the next couple of hours. So again, as we look at our debris tracker, not seeing any signals here where we're seeing debris on the ground. But again, we're not seeing any uniformity here. So that means that we're not, it's undetermined. We're not able to tell if we're seeing debris. But the National Weather Service is saying, along with the lightning, we're seeing kind of a classic hook echo here with the potential for maybe a wraparound here. And again, this, like Ken was mentioning, this tornado is going to be rain wrapped, so there is no way that you're going to see this tornado coming. Of course, the sun is now setting. It is getting dark outside, so southern Walthall County, southwest or southeastern Pike County, please seek shelter immediately. A tornado is going to be right here, essentially to the north of Progress here on 575 at the intersection of 575 and 48. That's where we have the potential for rotation, and with this storm moving off towards the east, as we time this out, there is not too much time. Tylertown, you have less than 10 minutes. 6:59 is when the tornado will be on top of you. Cardo by 7:04, Knoxo by 7:06, Dexter 7:09, Walthall County General Hospital at 6:58. So again, you only have now about 5 to 10 minutes to seek that safe place, and that's what everyone in southern Walthall County should be doing right now, where we have this tornado warning polygon here in red. So again, areas here like Stallings Bridge Road, Lexi, Old Highway 98, Kirkland Road, Old Highway 98 East, Kirkland Road, Airline Highway, Flowers, Dexter Road, Old State Line Road, Joe Pittman Road, Simmons, Lair, Stalling Bridge Road, excuse me, Highway 27, 48. All these areas need to seek shelter immediately, coming from Pike County, where we have the rotation, moving now towards Tylertown, Lexi, and Simmons. If there's a tornado, it is going to cross Highway 27. That is almost a guarantee, as this storm is moving quickly off towards the east. A very tight rotation in this storm. The good news is I just quick check back up here to southern Lincoln County, not seeing tight rotation here near Bogue Chitto, where we had been monitoring for the potential for a spin-up tornado. Our main focus right now is Tylertown, Lexi, Kirkland. Please seek a safe place right now, as we have this ongoing tornado warning moving off towards the east now. And as we kind of put this into motion to show you this tornado moving up quickly along the state line, if it was on the ground past just to the north of Osika, now pushing into southern Walthall County near Highway 27. And the National Weather Service has said that there's nothing stopping this. We have a favorable environment down here in South Mississippi in the Pine Belt. So Marion County, Lamar County, Forest County, heads up. This storm could be holding together and heading in your direction, especially along and south of Highway 98 over the next hour or two. So we're going to be watching this closely. Right now, I don't think that we have any confirmation of anything in South Mississippi, but it does look like, Ken, that we may have a new tornado warning coming for Marion County. I think the National Weather Service here in Jackson saying that they're going to be pushing this on downstream. So again, we can expect a new tornado warning pretty shortly here for southern Marion and Lamar County as expected. But again, right now, a dangerous tornado possibly approaching Highway 27 here in southern Walthall County as we speak. So again, we're continuing to see tight rotation. It's going to be between Simmons and Tylertown, moving directly towards Kirkland, Flowers here, Lair, Lexi. Again, this tornado is now essentially on top of Highway 27, moving off towards the east here through southern Walthall County. Going to impact areas along Highway 48 near Flowers as well pretty shortly. So these are the areas that we're going to be monitoring. Again, Highway 27, Kirkland Road, Airline Highway, all these places from Highway 48 and 98 down to the state line. Please be seeking shelter now as this tornado pushes off towards the east. And I think we're going to be waiting on this tornado warning, which should be coming out shortly for downstream. But again, this is our main severe weather threat right now across South Mississippi with this one tornado warning, and we're continuing to see tight rotation in this. Ken, I was wondering, has this been kind of trending upwards or trending downwards over the past 5 to 10 minutes?
Yeah, it looks to me like it's just in the past few minutes, it's pretty much holding its own. If anything, it may be trending upward just a little bit, but just over the last minute or two, it looks a little bit better in the last couple of scans. Let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen. I'm going to do something here. we're going to analyze this from the radar side out of Jackson. There you see the radar arm going by there, and we're going to back this up in time just a little bit. So sometimes we can track this out a little bit better if we can just trace it as it was moving from west to east. And at about 6:23, right there, right along the state line is where we were seeing some rotation. We'll take it out, and you can see it moving into Pike County, pretty close to the Osika area. You see those reds popping out there, right there, just along highway. Let's see, that is Highway 48 in Pike County. And you can see it's really pronounced right there, moving toward Highway 48. So as we continue to circle where the rotation is, right there, you can see it's moving pretty much to the east, maybe just a little slightly north of east, which is going to put it definitely on the Mississippi side of the state line of Mississippi and Louisiana. So there's really the track of the storm right there as it was coming out of Louisiana, cut across extreme southeastern of Mid-County through southern Pike County along Highway 48, and now it's moving toward Highway 27 in the southwestern part of Walthall County. I think it's going to pass to the south of Tylertown, but if you live in Tylertown, you are in the tornado warning. So just play it safe. It's going to be close enough to you that you don't want to take any chances with the storm. It's going to be passing close to Tylertown, just south of there, possibly crossing Highway 27 here in just the next few minutes. By the way, you see this original tornado warning right here in Pike County. That's really been canceled. It's going to take a few minutes for that to come off, but that's no longer in effect. So the rotating part of the severe thunderstorm definitely is now totally within Walthall County, and it continues to progress to the east at about 50 miles per hour. So it's just Walthall County right now, but as Jacob was mentioning, the National Weather Service out of Jackson is now looking at extending this farther to the east into Marion and Lamar counties. Now, the reason we keep bouncing back and forth between New Orleans and Jackson is because New Orleans actually responsible for Pike and Walthall counties, but Jackson responsible for the counties farther to the east, Marion and Lamar and Forest counties. So they're coordinating with each other to issue these warnings. And again, Jackson, they're going to take up the torch here as this continues to move to the east. And they are saying already that they are likely, and there it is, just as I'm talking about it, they have just issued that tornado warning now for Marion and Lamar counties. And there you see that northward component of the movement. Notice how the new tornado warning is just a little bit farther off to the north. So it's going to be tracking right in this direction, right mostly to the east, but a little bit north of east as we go through the next several minutes and going into the next hour. So if you live in Marion County, south of Columbia, although Columbia, you're in the tornado warning, but especially south of there, I think the storm is going to be tracking across your area and eventually tracking across Highway 35. So let's go ahead and take a look at the particulars with this. This is the new information that we've got with the new tornado warning. So the new tornado warning for Marion and Lamar will be in effect until 8 p.m. There is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, so it's still radar indicated. It's also capable of producing about ping pong ball sized hail. That's about 1.5 inches in diameter. So heavy rain, lightning, large hail up to ping pong ball in size. And then, of course, there's a potential there also for a tornado coming out of southern Walthall County and moving eastward at now about 55 miles per hour. So the forward motion has picked up a little bit with this storm. So I'll go ahead and plug in 55 miles per hour into Live IMAX 12, and we're going to track this out to the east where we know the rotation is right there south of Tylertown, and we're going to track it to the east all the way to the edge of the new warning polygon over the next 54 minutes. These places are in the path of the storm in this in the cone that I just drew. We're looking at Lexi. It's right over Lexi right now. It's just a few minutes before the top of the hour. Eventually, though, the storm is going to be headed eastward to Knoxo at about 7:07. Spring Cottage at 7:24, Lumberton at about 7:45, and about 10 minutes till 8 o'clock. It's going to be in the community Young. Now, we do have an update on that tornado warning. I saw the polygon change there just a little bit, so I'm going to zoom into the old warning, or actually the current warning, and I'll query this. And once again, they are saying right now with this storm, as it's moving through southern Walthall County, south of Tylertown, that it's still radar indicated, but it's also capable of producing about 1 3/4 inch in diameter hail. Again, that's about, let's say, golf ball. That's golf ball sized hail coming from the storm. Let's check out the hail with this, and there you see it in the southern part of the county. So large, dangerous hail being produced by this severe thunderstorm, in addition to the potential of those rotating winds producing possibly a tornado. Again, we don't know that anything's on the ground, but there definitely could be. And as I'm saying that, the radar is updating, and we are seeing brighter shaded pixels right in here. So if you look at that, you've got winds moving toward the radar site right there at about 90 or so miles an hour, and then winds moving away at about, let's say, 10 to 20 miles per hour. So shear there, that's about 100 mile per hour. So dangerous storm. It may not be on the ground, but it also may be. So we want you to treat this as if it is a storm that is on the ground and moving toward your area. If you live along Highway 48, near or south of Tylertown, moving toward the communities of Dexter and Flowers, moving across Airline Highway, Old State Line Road, and Dexter Road. Remember, it is moving quicker now. It's moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour, maybe just a little bit north of east. So over the next 15 minutes, these places are going to be in the path of the storm in Walthall County. And since we're in a closer view here, these are not just communities, these are landmarks that are going to be in the path of the storm, like Powerhouse Church and New Zion Church and Oral Church and the community of Flowers and Dexter Attendance Center. Hopefully you are already in that safe spot right now. Please stay there until we can tell you that all is clear with the storm. And by the way, we can say that if you live to the west of, let's say, the county line right there. You see the old tornado warning popping off there in Pike County. If you live in Pike County, it looks like everything now is to the east of there. And if you've been in your safe spot waiting for us to tell you that it's okay, well, in Pike County, at least for right now, you're okay. But that's not the case along Highway 27 and along Highway 48 in southern Walthall County, Tylertown, Lexi, Lair, Simmons, Kirkland, Flowers, Knoxo, and eventually parts of Marion and Lamar County as well. You've got some lead time if you live in those areas. There you see the radar updating. If you live along Highway 35 south of Columbia, you've got about let's say 15 to 20 minutes to get to that safe spot, to get out of a mobile home and get to a nearby sturdy structure to the lowest floor in an interior room, staying away from windows. If you live along Highway 43, you've got a little bit more time. You got closer to 22 minutes, let's say 20 to 25 minutes to get to where you need to go. And if you live in Lamar County, there's nothing happening in Lamar County right now, but we know a bad storm is headed in your direction. If it holds together, and we think it likely will, you've got a good 30 minutes before it even reaches your county. So there's lots of warning, there's lots of lead time. Get to that safe spot, stay there. We know what happened on Easter Sunday with storms like this, and we don't want to see that happen again. We can't stop these storms from happening, but we can tell you that they are coming. We can tell you where they're going, and we can tell you where you need to be when a storm like this is passing across your area. Jacob, back to you.
Thanks, Ken. So again, here's a recap right now on Live IMAX 12 across central Mississippi. So here's the update right now as we come over here to the green screen. We got a warm front right now up along Interstate 20, and we have a tornado warning now in South Mississippi. We have a strong supercell that I think might be putting a tornado down at this moment. And again, the tornado threat is now focused across the Pine Belt. We're still seeing some gusty winds, heavy rainfall, lightning up towards the metro, say McGee, Port Gibson, back towards Hazelhurst, up in Forest. But the severe weather threat is focused towards the south. So here's the new tornado warning that we showed you just moments ago. Now until 8 o'clock for southern Lamar and Marion County. Columbia included to this, areas off towards Purvis, and essentially West Hattiesburg also included in this. And this is, again, the National Weather Service saying there's not much holding this storm back because this is a very favorable environment. So what I want to do right now is show you the very tight winds here. And it looks like, again, these winds have really picked up over the past couple of minutes, the past couple of radar updates. And I would be surprised if this is not going to or has already produced a tornado, because we have very significant winds here, a very strong mesocyclone. And I do want to point out, we've gotten an update. We have a few specialized and trained storm spotters in Columbia heading south on Highway 35, and they're going to be giving us an update pretty shortly on what this storm looks like. They are trained to stay safe in this, and they're going to let us know if this is producing a tornado, if a wall cloud is rotating, if a funnel is trying to reach the ground, if it is already on the ground. And we're going to let you know as soon as we hear from them. But again, we have some storm chasers in this area keeping a close eye on this storm that we'll have an update with shortly. And I also want to point out that we do have some early preliminary reports of maybe some damage back in southwestern Pike County. As we kind of take this back in time here, we had a very tight couplet near Progress, and one of the local emergency managers saying that there's potentially a fire in this area, and so we're going to have to work to find out a little bit more information near Progress. But again, a potential damage near Progress from either damaging winds, maybe a strong lightning strike, which we certainly could have seen, or a potential tornado. Now, as we fast forward this in time, again, it is crossed now over Highway 27 and is now moving through Walthall County and is approaching Flowers and the Marion County line. So this is moving quickly towards essentially along Highway 48. So Spring Cottage, Twin, Pickwick, and Nat Cole back towards the Pineburg area. Please seek shelter immediately. This is a strong storm, and I would be surprised if it is not or is not going to produce a tornado, as we've been seeing tight rotation here for the past now almost an hour, as this first warning was issued back in Pike County around 6:05. And so we've been here with you for an hour. Tight rotation now just off towards the southwest of Tylertown, where a tornado warning continues now, as this is going to be pushing towards southern Marion County. Columbia and areas to the south are included in this polygon. So speaking of the polygons, I want to show you all the communities included right now under these tornado warnings. So as we zoom in here in Walthall County, we still do have Tylertown, Flowers, Knoxo, and Kirkland. You still need to be in your safe place. Simmons, Vaught's, and Demon, Salmon have been dropped from the warning. In Marion County, Sunbacks, Kokomo, Columbia, Nat Cole, Pickwick, Pineburg, Spring Cottage, Twin, all areas along Highway 35, 43, and 13 are included in this red tornado warning polygon. And then back towards Hattiesburg, here in Lamar County, Olo, West Hattiesburg, 589 at 98. It's included in this tornado warning down towards Akola. Purvis area, that's a more highly populated area here along Interstate 59. Tolowa, Seneca, and Lumberton, all included in this tornado warning polygon. So we've got a large area here that is now approaching the Hattiesburg metro area, especially on the southwest side, that needs to be seeking shelter immediately. That means an interior room, lowest level of your home, as many walls between you and the storm as possible. And now we're seeing a significant wind signature here. This is very tight rotation right along Highway 48. So this is State Highway 48, Knoxo, and Flowers. Right in between here is where we have very tight rotation, and that is signifying to me that we have the likelihood of a tornado right now here in South Walthall County. So again, our debris tracker really is not being very helpful here. And as we kind of switched over here to the New Orleans debris tracker, maybe there's nothing that's guaranteed here, which is good news. But again, this tornado warning is far away from our radar site, so we don't have a good view of this. What we do have is again showing the hook echo here near Flowers along Highway 48. It's going to be pushing towards 35, 43, and 48 in southern Marion County within the next couple of minutes. So as we turn back on our wind mode, again, very tight rotation here. And as I kind of show you the winds in this storm, we're seeing nearly 80 miles per hour coming to the north, and these reds are moving to the south, and so that's where we get this rotation here. So we have a broad mesocyclone, that's a rotating storm, and when we add these up, we have 50 miles per hour plus 80 miles per hour. That is significant winds up to 130 mile per hour rotation between Knoxo and Flowers right now along State Highway 48. So significant rotation, and this is moving off towards the west, or the east rather, pretty quickly now, and I think the latest movement on this storm is 55 miles per hour. So as we put a storm track on this for you, it's going to be approaching Pickwick, Spring Cottage pretty shortly, Dexter Attendance Center by 7:08. So right now, the tornado would be approaching Dexter there along Highway 48 corridor, Pickwick 7:19, Spring Cottage 7:23, and Pine Bur by 7:28 as this likely tornado now pushes off towards the east. So very strong rotation. We don't have confirmation this is on the ground, but you need to treat like this is on the ground because this is a strong storm with a potential tornado and a very favorable tornado environment. And again, this tornado warning here for southern Marion and Lamar counties now goes until 8 p.m. And of course, myself, John Conway, and Chief Meteorologist Ken South all keeping a close eye on this storm. And we're continuing to watch tight rotation in this storm. And I'm going to send it back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South for another update on the rotation right now near Flowers. Ken?
All right, thank you, Jacob. Again, great information there. A very significant signature of rotation here. It definitely has gotten better over the past several minutes. So, again, this may be radar indicated, but when you get a signature that strong, there's a really good chance that this is actually a tornado that's reaching the ground. That's why we keep saying just treat it as if that is the case and it's moving quickly toward your area. Because remember, it's moving at a good clip. It's moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So it's easy to tell where the rotating part of the storm is. You see the bright reds and the bright greens right there. In this case, I'm analyzing from New Orleans, red moving away, green moving toward, and we'll take it into Marion County. And there you see some of those areas that are right there in that cone. It's going to be moving through southwestern Walthall into southern Marion and potentially impacting places like Mount Bethel, No. 2 Church, Hurricane Creek Church, Mount Carmel Church, and the town of Pickwick in less than, let's say, about 10 minutes. Right now, it's 9 minutes after 7, and we're estimating that this storm is going to be near Pickwick at about 7:18. So we've had a lot of lead time if you live in Marion and in Lamar counties, but your time is running short quickly because it's not going to stop. It's going to continue to move to the east at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So every minute that you waste is a minute that's getting closer to your area. So we don't want you to waste time. You do have some time if you live in Marion County and especially in Lamar County to get to that safe spot. So do it right now. This is a dangerous storm. We've got a potential for a large tornado here that could produce significant damage. We all know what happened on Easter Sunday. We don't want to see pictures, of course, like that again, but it's possible with this storm. So please go ahead and take shelter right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen so we can show you exactly where the storm is right now. And again, the location really is not in any doubt right now. We'll zoom into southeastern parts of Walthall County, just along Highway 48 near the town of Flowers. And as we query this, we're looking again at very strong winds moving in opposite directions. These are winds 75 miles per hour moving away. That's the plus 75 means moving away. The negative means that those are inbound winds toward the radar site in New Orleans. So plus 75, a negative 51, add them together, and you've got over 120 mile per hour winds. If a storm producing 120 mile per hour winds were reaching the ground, that would be an EF2 tornado. Of course, we don't know that there is actually even a tornado on the ground, but the likelihood is definitely there. And this could be one of the stronger ones that moves through this area tonight. So please take this situation seriously. If you live along Highway 48 in southeastern Walthall County, and then, of course, farther to the east into Marion County, mainly now, it looks to me like it's going to pass to the south of Columbia. Let's go ahead and track this out to the east. Rotation is right there. We'll take it out to the Lamar County line over the next 20 minutes. And within this cone, we're looking at Pickwick. Again, we keep saying Pickwick because it looks certain that it's going to be crossing that area here over the next several minutes. It's now 7:12. Should be there right around 7:19. Farther to the east, Spring Cottage, Then Hub Attendance Center at 7:25, Pine Burr at 7:27, and Pine Burr Church at a few minutes after that at right about the bottom of the hour. We'll zoom out just a little bit, and I'm going to back up the radar when it didn't look quite as good there south of Tylertown, but you can see how the rotation has become much more pronounced as it's moving to the east along Highway 48, beginning now to move from Walthall into Marion County. Rotating part of the storm is right there east of Flowers, and it's going to be crossing this highway. See, that is Highway 35, crossing the highway in about 8 minutes' time, and it's going to be in the vicinity of Spring Cottage in about, let's say, 10 to 12 minutes from right now, pretty close to Pine Burr in about 18 minutes from right now. So please take shelter in these areas. I'm going to take a quick scan a little bit farther to the north. We'll take a look at the Jackson radar, and we'll look at within the storms a little bit farther to the north, and not seeing anything that really pops out north of there, but certainly when we begin to scan down a little bit farther to the south, it just completely clearly jumps out at you exactly where that rotation is. Unfortunately, this is reminding me now a lot of what happened last week when we saw this clear rotation right there now in southeastern Walthall County. But Jacob, again, this reminds me of last Sunday.
It does, Ken, and yeah, the National Weather Service, I don't know if you mentioned this, but they have upgraded this to a considerable damage tag. So it looks like that this is a tornado on the ground, Pickwick, Pine Burr, Nat Cole. This is a very dangerous situation. A strong tornado likely on the ground right now, moments away from crossing Highway 35. Again, Columbia just to the north here. There's Columbia. No imminent threat, but Nat Cole, Pickwick, Spring Cottage, Twin, Pine Burr. National Weather Service saying a large, dangerous tornado with considerable damage is about to cross State Highway 35 here in southern Marion County. So again, unfortunately, this is exactly what we saw last week, although in a little bit different location, but a strong tornado with damaging winds and considerable damage is going to be possible in the communities of Nat Cole, Pickwick, Spring Cottage here along Highway 43 and 35. If you know someone in southern Marion County who is not paying attention to the weather, please give them a call. Everyone here in Nat Cole, Pickwick, and Spring Cottage, Pine Burr needs to seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of their home. Interior room is many walls between you and outside, and this tornado is likely producing damage as we speak. Again, our debris tracker is too far away from the storm to confirm debris. But when we see rotation this tight, we can almost guarantee that a strong, dangerous tornado is right now on the ground, moments away from crossing 35 right near Pickwick. And again, this is moving downstream, so we're giving you an early heads up here if you're in Lamar County. Purvis, this would be on track to be in your area pretty shortly. Baxterville is also a location where we're going to see this tornado pretty shortly. So again, Highway 13, 43, 35, 589, back towards Highway 11, Purvis, Tolowa, Baxterville, Pine Burr, Spring Cottage, Pickwick, Nat Cole. A considerably large and dangerous tornado is on the way, which is over Dexter, now moving east at 50 miles per hour. So we're continuing to see very tight rotation near Dexter, moving towards Pickwick. And again, this is that tight rotation, a significant wind signature here. This is the strongest we have seen this storm all evening long over the past hour and 15 minutes. And it is now moments away from crossing State Highway 35. So again, a dangerous situation here in South Mississippi. This is southern Marion County, going from Walthall into Marion County. Tylertown and Knoxo, Flowers now in the clear, but a dangerous tornado now right now onto the county line, moving into Marion County. So as we come down here to street level, Joe Pittman Road, Water Tank Road, and then our road's kind of cut off here. But again, we're still seeing this move towards Highway 35, Pickwick, Saxon. Please seek shelter immediately. This is a large, dangerous tornado, likely on the ground near Water Tank Road between Dexter and Pickwick, and it is moving off towards the east. And Ken, we are now getting an observed tag on this, so I'm not sure if this is from the spotters or from debris, but it looks like a dangerous tornado moments away from hitting the community of Pickwick. So right now, as we turn on our correlation coefficient or the debris tracker, oh, there it is. I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, so this is the damage, folks. So we have a tornado on the ground, considerable damage. Yep, there. Oh, wow. Yeah, so we're getting this debris signature, unfortunately, exactly like we saw last week. So what this has done, this tornado is now crossed from Walthall into Marion County, and it looks like somewhere along Joe Pittman Road or right on the county line, this tornado has picked up either a building or a lot of trees and lofted them into the air. We have debris on radar now, and it looks like this is going to pass near Saxon along Highway 35 within the next couple of minutes. Again, between Pickwick and Sandy Hook, a dangerous tornado now moments away from crossing Highway 35. This is now in Marion County. A tornado warning observed on the ground. Dangerous situation for southern Marion County to the south of Columbia here. This is State Highway 35, Highway 43, Spring Cottage, Sandy Hook, Pickwick. Please seek shelter immediately. This is a dangerous situation, and we now have debris on radar as this storm is moving off towards the east. So we're continuing to watch this, and Ken, in addition to the debris, we have very tight rotation in this storm.
Yeah, we certainly do. Let's go ahead and come back to me. And this is Live Eye Max 2, and this is backed up in time, about 20 minutes or so. Let's go ahead and take a look at Max 2 full right now. So I want you to see how this storm has grown over the past 20 minutes. As we go forward in time, and we're looking at our velocity product, remember, we're looking at those rotating winds within the storm, and look at how it just completely blows up. And you can clearly see that the storm is growing larger. You can clearly see the rotation there. So this has happened in just the past 20 minutes. That's why we say get into that safe spot and stay there. It may not look impressive at one moment, but give it some time and it could grow and it could become a major storm. And that's unfortunately what has happened with this cell. Now, let's take a look at the debris, and that is growing, unfortunately, as well. Now, this is an analysis from our radar site in New Orleans. So we'll go back in time to 7:15. That was just 3 minutes ago. And we didn't really see anything that really stood out as it was moving through Walthall County. But it was right in about this area. But then we go forward in time, and you can see those pixels right there, the blue right there. That is debris being lofted into the atmosphere. So that's why the tag on this tornado was changed from radar indicated to observed. It was clearly observed on radar, but then a further confirmation is the fact that we have gotten a debris signature with this tornado. So this is a confirmed tornado. It is on the ground. It is moving to the east at 55 miles per hour through southern Marion County right now. It's going to be crossing Highway 35 and eventually Highway, I believe, 43. This is 35, and let's see, that is... Nope, that's Highway 43 and also 13. So the storm is going to be crossing those highways here in just the next several minutes. Remember, moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. Now, there you see the radar updating. So I'll go ahead and I'll circle it again. Just about to say that we could see a little bit of a delay here. So this is what happened. You can consider that this is what happened maybe a minute or so ago. So the tornado is likely a little bit farther to the east of this point right now, but it was definitely producing damage crossing the highway, Highway 35, south of Pickwick, and it's moving quickly toward the Spring Cottage area. This is Highway 43. So within a minute or two, this large damaging tornado producing damage right now is going to be crossing Highway 43 north of Spring Cottage, south of Hub, and eventually this is also going to be moving close to the community of Pine Burg and then crossing. This is Highway 13 near or just to the south of Hub and Pine Burg in southern Marion County. Again, this is a large damaging tornado that is on the ground moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. And if you live along Highway 43, Highway 13, and anywhere south of Hub along Highway 13, this is moving in your direction. You absolutely need to seek shelter right now. This is a life-threatening situation. This is a lot like we saw last Sunday, also moving through parts of the Pine Belt. Well, it's happening once again in southern Marion County. We'll clean this up, and I want to show you some of the streets that are a little bit closer here. You see those major highways, and there, once again, as it's crossing Highway 35, so we get a closer look in, some more towns, some more communities begin popping in there. So south of Pickwick, right around Saxon, along the highway there, this is Highway 35. The tornado is crossing there now, and it is very soon going to be crossing Highway 43 near Spring Cottage, and then obviously it's going to be moving farther to the east, given more time. Eventually pretty close to Pine Burr, and then eventually the storm is going to be getting into Lamar County. So we'll track it to the east into Lamar County over the next 26 minutes. These places are going to be in the path of the storm. Sweet Valley Church, of course, the community of Pine Burr, also Little Black Creek Water Park and Mount Hebron Church. All of those places are going to be in the path of this dangerous tornado over the next several minutes. Jacob, I'll send it over to you.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, so again, downstream from this, this is now a dangerous situation moving towards the populated area of Lamar County. Purvis, unfortunately, looks like it's going to be directly in the path of this. We're giving you a very large heads up. This is still 15 to 20 minutes away from Purvis and Interstate 59 from Hattiesburg, West Hattiesburg south down to Lumberton. You need to seek shelter right now. There's a tornado warning currently for most of Lamar County, southern Marion County. A confirmed dangerous tornado has now just crossed State Highway 35 and is moving in the direction of Purvis now at 45 miles per hour. So again, it looks like that we now have a refined cone here. And as I put a track on this, again, Pine Burr, 730, that's moments away. Please seek shelter right now. Baxterville, 737. Purvis, 748. So again, about a 20 to 30 minute heads up for the Interstate 59 corridor. Purvis, a large populated area along Highway 11. Rock Hill, as well as Wallace. Please seek shelter. And again, go ahead and call people if you know driving on Interstate 59. No travel near Purvis on Interstate 59 because we have an extremely dangerous tornado that is now 20 to 30 minutes away from reaching the 59 corridor. So we're still seeing significant damaging winds, signifying this is a strong, considerably dangerous tornado on the ground. Now has passed over Highway 35. Spring Cottage, the tornado is now on top of you. Pine Burr, seconds away, and Baxterville only has about 2 minutes left before this tornado arrives. So on our correlation coefficient or the debris tracker, we are still now seeing, again, this is extremely high up, and I think that this looks like that this is thousands of feet in the air. I think this could be, Ken, up to 15,000 feet, this radar beam. And so this far south, again, this radar beam is coming all the way from the Jackson Metro, and so it is very high up here in South Mississippi, and the fact that we're getting debris this high shows that there's a strong and dangerous tornado now on the ground that has just passed through Pickwick, Spring Cottage, and moving towards Hub, Pine Burr, and Highway 13 within the next couple of moments. So this blue color here means that we have things that are not raindrops inside this tornado and storm. So that means debris, that means wood panels, that means trees, leaves, potential debris from homes, shingles, anything that could be lofted, limbs, parts of gravel or road from these gravel roads in South Mississippi. This is lofted in the air as the tornado moments ago was between 35 and 43. I think, though, again, this radar a moment a few behind, now on top of Highway 43, pushing towards Pine Burr and Highway 13. If you live along Highway 13, 43, or anywhere in this vicinity in southern Marion County, you need to seek shelter immediately. And again, there's an update there to that debris signature right now. Moments ago was on top of 43, continuing to do damage as we continue to watch this. So it looks like, yeah, the National Weather Service saying this is 10 to 15,000 feet in the air that we're seeing this debris being lofted up. So again, this is a dangerous storm where a tornado warning continues for southern Marion and southern Lamar County now until 8 p.m. Baxterville, please seek shelter. And all areas between Baxterville and Purvis, I think that this is a relatively sparsely populated area until you get to Highway 11. So what I'm going to do here is we know the tornado right now near Spring Cottage, and so as we track this out, we're going to get hopefully a couple more areas. So Baxterville, 737, 10 minutes away. Please seek your safe place now. Baxterville Attendance Center, 737. Bass Memorial Academy, 748. Purvis, 749. And Rock Hill at 755. And this is going to be approaching Interstate 59 within the next 30 minutes. So a strong, dangerous tornado right now is on the ground. Here's those winds again. And like we saw last on Easter, it looks like where we see the wind mode that has kind of gone, where we're seeing the blues where it should be red. These winds are coming south. It has tricked the radar, and we have extremely tight rotation right now along 43 near Spring Cottage. Again, this is a dangerous tornado right now on the ground, moving towards Pine Burg area along Highway 13. Please seek shelter right now, where we have a dangerous tornado on the ground moving off towards the east now at 55 miles per hour. So we have a large, dangerous tornado. I think this is near the Sandy Hook area, just to the northeast of Sandy Hook. So there's Sandy Hook, a more populated area at 48 and 35. North of there, we have Spring Cottage, Hub, Pine Burg. This is Highway 13 that runs from Marion County into Lamar County. Baxterville right now is downstream of this. And I think the tornado, if it's tracking with a slight northerly direction, is going to be moving just to the north of Baxterville within the next couple moments. But everyone here south of Highway 98 and Marion and Lamar counties needs to be in their tornado safe place right now. We continue to have a dangerous storm on the ground. In addition to that, we're seeing some large hail right now at the core of this storm. And as we look here on our radar, I think a few moments ago I was seeing the potential for maybe a weak echo region, but I'm not seeing that. We still have a very kind of classic notch here where we're getting the inflow, winds coming in from the south. Our tornado is wrapping in from the north, and this is where we're seeing the circulation right now, moments away here from crossing Highway 13. And again, now only, as we look at this, only 5 miles away from the county line from Marion and Lamar. So Baxterville, Highway 16. Again, we have moments now in Baxterville to seek your safe place as this tornado pushes off towards the east. And we're continuing to see a debris signature on this. And it looks like that as we look here, no reports of the tornado here in the south. But again, we have this confirmed on radar, a large, dangerous tornado with significant damaging winds right now is on top of Pine Burg and Hub. And Ken, we're continuing to track a debris signature with this storm.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out now at 21,000 feet. So
wow,
imagine,
so very strong.
Yes, how strong that tornado would have to be to loft debris that high into the atmosphere. So we know it's a large tornado. We know it's on the ground. We know it's producing damage, and we know it's moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So get out of the way of this storm. Please seek shelter right now. This is a life-threatening situation. The tag with this storm is that it is capable of producing considerable damage as it moves off to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen for us. And this was actually just a few minutes ago, so I'm going to take this off. This is our debris tracker, debris indicator, and this is the latest right there. You can see it crossing right there. I believe this is, it's going to be near Hub, right around Highway 13, moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. In fact, I'm going to query this just to make sure that the language is correct here. Again, this is an observed tornado. Tornado damage threat is considerable, and the storm is also capable of producing ping pong ball sized hail. But of course, our major concern right now is the fact that this is a tornado that is radar confirmed on the ground, moving to the east. Now they're saying at about 45 miles per hour. So that's not as fast as it was before, which is a little bit of good news. If you live east of here or downstream of there, the fact that it is not moving as quickly does give you just a little bit more time, but we don't want you to waste any more time, because that is definitely where the debris is being produced, and that's where we know the tornado was at least a minute or two ago. And again, that's right around the community of Pine Burg, just to the south of Hub. That is along Highway 13. So we're talking about Marion County now, but very soon this storm is going to be in Lamar County. So we've been talking about Lamar County now for the past 30 minutes or so, and we've been saying if you live in Lamar County, get ready that this is headed in your direction. Well, now it is just about there. It is about 2 miles, or about 2 to 3 minutes away from crossing the county line from Marion into Lamar County, and eventually you see the warning area right there, that red polygon that has been trimmed down a little bit to narrow where we think that storm is going to go. So moving to the east at about 45, we're going to take it to the edge of the polygon here. That's the next 28 minutes. Right now it's about 7:31, 32. So this is going to take us until the top of the hour, until 8 p.m. And these areas are within this cone that I just drew. Pine Burr, it's over your area right now, but we're looking at Purvis at about 7:54. That's probably the highest populated area that the storm may be affecting with time. So if you live in Purvis, anywhere near there, to the north or south of there, you need to take shelter right now. It's 7:32. It's going to be there right around 7:50 to 7:54. That gives you about 18, maybe, if you're lucky, about 20 minutes to get to that safe spot. Do not be on the roadway. Do not be in a mobile home when a storm like this is passing across the area. It's going to roll both of those. You need to get to a underground shelter or a basement. If you don't have that, lowest floor of your home or business, small interior room, staying away from windows to give yourself the best chance of getting through this storm. Unfortunately, it's a dangerous storm that has been producing damage. It has been lofting debris very high into the atmosphere. So we know this storm means business, and it's been tracking on the ground for quite some time now. When we first came on the air with this one, we knew that it was tracking into an environment that was very unstable, and because of that, it had the potential to keep going and going and going and being one of those large, long-track tornadoes that we saw last Sunday. We had 3 of those moving across the Pine Belt. Well, this Sunday, we've got at least one more moving across this area. But this storm started right around Mick County. We started seeing that debris signature as it moved from Walthall into Marion County, and this was at about 7:14. So we know there's been a tornado on the ground since at least about a quarter after 7, and it's now about 7:35. So we know that over the past 20 minutes, we've seen tornado damage tracking across Marion County, and now it is targeting southern Lamar County as well, and particularly the town of Purvis. We are still seeing the debris signature right there now east of Pine Burr. I'll circle it right there. That's where the tornado is along Highway 13 and tracking off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So Highway 11, Purvis, Oklahoma, north of Seneca, right along Highway 11. You are going to be in the path of the storm. Please take shelter right now. Jacob, over to you.
Yeah, and Ken, we have just gotten a confirmed tornado sighted now by, we have storm spotters, as I mentioned about 30 minutes ago in Marion County. They've gone south of Columbia. They have confirmed this is a large, destructive, dangerous tornado on the ground, continuing to track towards Purvis. Now, the National Weather Service is saying that Purvis is now in an imminent threat from this damaging tornado. Please, if you are in the town of Purvis, you need to seek shelter right now. This storm is now only 15 minutes away as it is moving off towards the east now at 50 miles per hour. I think that we have a live view now of Interstate 59. If we can show that, we have significant lightning ahead of this storm. This is going to be rain-wrapped, impossible to see as it is moving off toward Purvis. This tornado going to be arriving at 7:54 or earlier, so please seek shelter right now. If we have an MDOT camera, there you go. So right now, yes, significant lightning flashes right now. This is Interstate 59 near Purvis. I mean, we're getting lightning about every second here along the interstate. A very strong tornado producing damage is now approaching the I-59 corridor. There are people here still driving. Again, if you know anyone driving on Interstate 59 through Lamar County, that is between Hattiesburg and Lumberton near the town of Purvis, you need to call them right now and tell them they need to get off the highway and seek shelter. We have a dangerous tornado now that is now less than 15 minutes away from reaching Purvis and Interstate 59. So again, just unreal lightning here that you're seeing. This is an MDOT camera on Interstate 59 in Lamar County near Purvis. Again, all driving between Hattiesburg and Lumberton needs to stop. This is a very dangerous tornado that is now approaching the highly populated corridor now of Highway 11 and Interstate 59. So as you come back here to Live IMAX 1, this is the dangerous tornado now that is now exiting Marion County here along Highway 13, where we're still getting reports of confirmed damage. Spotters are in this area telling us there's a large tornado on the ground near Hub and Pineburg, and it is now veering away from Highway 13 into Lamar County. And again, if we kind of query this out, this is not too far away from Purvis. This is now moving off towards the east at around 50 miles per hour. And when we query Purvis, there it is, 13 miles away, 16 minutes. The tornado now on the county line between Marion and Lamar County, just near Highway 13. Purvis is at 569 and Highway 11 near Interstate 59. And that is less than now 16 minutes away. And shelter, you need to be seeking shelter immediately if you're in Purvis, Oklahola, Tolowa, Baxterville, Seneca, any portion of Lamar County to the south of Highway 98. You should be in your tornado safe place already. You should be calling folks if you have not already. If they live in southern Lamar County, a dangerous tornado has been on the ground now for 30 minutes, tracking towards Purvis, Oklahola, Tolowa, and we want to save lives here. We do not need people to be unaware in Purvis or anywhere in Lamar County that a dangerous tornado is on the way. Please let them know if your friends are not paying attention to the weather, and we are continuing to see extremely tight rotation with this storm as it enters Lamar County.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to hold together, and unfortunately this is going to be one of those long track tornadoes like we saw last Sunday. Let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen, and I've got a couple things on here. We've got the debris tracker on. The debris tracker is actually from New Orleans. I'm getting a little bit better picture on the debris tracker from New Orleans, and you can clearly see the debris is right there, right around the county line of Marion and Lamar County. But I also want to slide this velocity scope right over the area, and as we do, we can clearly see once again, just like last Sunday, where we are seeing rotation with the storm. You can see the reds. Now, within the scope tool, we're analyzing this from the radar site out of the Jackson area. Reds moving away, greens moving toward. We can query some of these wind speeds in here, and I'm sure they're going to be very impressive. And in fact, we're looking at a -77. Those are winds moving toward the radar site in the Jackson area, and a +34. It's moving away. So add them together, you've got over 100-mile gate-to-gate shear with this tornado. So we're looking at least winds that strong reaching the ground. Could even be stronger in this area. So we're looking at a significant large tornado moving to the east now at about 45 miles per hour, right around the county line of Marion and Lamar. And unfortunately, this is headed towards a fairly populated area, the town of Purvis. We're thinking that it may slide just to the north of Purvis as it approaches that city, but you cannot take any chances with this. If you live in Purvis, you need to take shelter right now. It looks like the tornado has now passed out of Marion County. The debris signature is now solely within Lamar County. So I don't think the tornado warning has been canceled for Marion, but just by looking at the debris signature, it looks like it's passed to the east into Lamar. The warning goes until 8 p.m. for Lamar County. If you are watching us from Forest County, you need to know that this storm is likely going to hold together, and you're likely going to be seeing a tornado warning issued for Forest County and possibly Perry County farther to the east for the central parts of those counties. So that's going to be sliding to the south of the Hattiesburg area. But these areas are definitely going to be under the gun here over the next several minutes. Let's just go ahead and track this all the way through Forest County. And of course, Purvis is one of the locations that pops up here if we track it to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So it is now 7:40. It's going to be in the Purvis area at about 5 minutes before 8 o'clock. That's about 15 minutes. But you don't have 15 minutes. You've got more like about 10 minutes at best to get to that safe spot, because we want you to be there before the storm arrives. We don't want you to wait until it's right on top of you. Now, you do have a little bit more time if you live in Epps, which is, I believe, going into Forest County. It should be there at about 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead and turn on the warning here. and I'm just going to query this to see if we've got any changes there. One change that I am noticing is that indeed Marion County has been taken out of the tornado warning. So this tornado warning right now is just now for Lamar County, still until 8 p.m. It's still an observed tornado. The damage threat is considerable, and it is capable of producing still large hail, as well as that tornado that is on the ground and approaching the Purvis area. It's forward motion now back up to about 55 miles per hour. So again, that gives you even less time because it's moving at a faster speed. So we'll plug 55 into Live IMAX 12, and we're going to redo these tracks because we were saying it would be at Purvis at about 7:55. Well, if it's moving quicker, it's going to be there even sooner. We'll track it to the edge of Lamar and Forest County. And now we're thinking it's going to be in Purvis at about 7:51. So again, time is running short. If you live in the Purvis area, to take shelter should be there within 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. So I would say you've got a good 5 minutes before the storm is right on top of you. Any time between now and the next 5 minutes, you need to get into that safe spot and stay there until we sound the all clear, which of course we can do farther off to the west into Marion County. Still a severe thunderstorm warning there, but the tornado warning is now just for Lamar County. The storm is to the north of Baxterville. It's take off the watch area, and we'll take off that cone, and I'm going to circle the debris because unfortunately that still means that it is on the ground right there. That's the tornado debris signature, and approaching once again not only Purvis but Highway 585, Highway 11, Oklahoma, and Purvis. Those areas are going to see the storm passing by very soon. We'll get a closer look in to see if any more communities are popping up here, and not seeing anything. So a fairly rural area of Lamar County right now, but it's moving into a populated area, especially right around Purvis or just to the north of there along Highway 11 as that leads into the city of Hattiesburg. Thankfully, it's going to pass to the south of Hattiesburg, but if you are one of those people that live in one of those smaller communities south of Hattiesburg in either Lamar or in Forest County, please take shelter right now. This tornado is still on the ground. It has been since at least 7:15, so we know it's been on the ground for a minimum of 30 minutes, if not longer. This definitely is going to be one of those large, long-track tornadoes that unfortunately is going to produce a lot of property damage as it's moving across the Pine Belt. Jacob, back to you.
So, Ken, we just got an update from the Storm Prediction Center. They issued one of those rare discussions, once again, saying this is likely an EF3 or stronger tornado moments away from Purvis and areas in South Hattiesburg. And, Ken, one concern I have here, have you noticed it's kind of shifted to a northerly component here?
North, yes.
And so, again, if you are in South Hattiesburg, 98 or south, I know you're not included in a tornado warning, but Richburg, Palmer's Crossing, this is near Highway 59, near 49, and this is Highway 98. So where 98 kind of splits off here, Bonhomie, Palmer's Crossing, Richburg, Ralston, South Hattiesburg, you need to seek shelter immediately. This tornado has now taken a northerly jog. We're waiting a new tornado warning, and it looks like it's going to be now the tornado tracking just to the northwest of Purvis, but that's going to be very close there to the airport in Hattiesburg. And so we're going to get an update, and I think the polygon is now going to include areas in South Hattiesburg towards Hagler Air Force Base, towards the New Augusta area. So again, this is a dangerous tornado. Again, if you are in Hattiesburg, especially South Hattiesburg, 98 to the south, down Interstate 59 towards the airport, where 49 and 98 meet, this is an area now that I'm growing more concerned about, where we could see this damaging, destructive tornado move towards the northeast with a bit of a jog here to the north. There's that new warning, and this includes South Hattiesburg. So again, this is now a new tornado warning. Downstream, again, a big heads up here until 8:15. Forest, Lamar counties, please seek shelter immediately. Richburg, Palmer's Crossing, Ralston, McLaurin, back towards Epps, Oklahoma, along Interstate 59, where 59 meets the easterly portion of Highway 98. This is going to be a dangerous spot. Ralston, Palmer's Crossing, please seek shelter immediately. And we're also seeing significant hail going to impact the town of Hattiesburg. So normally what we see here here is we have the rotation here on the southern edge of this storm. It's going to be tracking just to the north of Purvis. Still, though, Purvis address likely impacted here. But up here to the north is where we have the hail core, and that's about to be impacting the town of Hattiesburg. So down here to the south near Purvis, that's the strong damaging tornado. To the north, significant hail going to be falling. And here is the rotation right now. Again, in an unpopulated area in southern Lamar County, moving though towards quickly, and still this is kind of hugging the north here of this warning, Ken. I think Oklahola, Richburg, South Hattiesburg, Palmer's Crossing, 59 at 98, 49 at 98 right here near Ralston. Please seek shelter. Again, this is a dangerous, life-threatening situation with extreme tornado now on the ground, now minutes away from impacting Highway 589. It's going to be crossing Interstate 59. Again, there should be no travel between Hattiesburg and Lumberton on Interstate 59 right now. You need to call folks if they are driving in this area. You need to call people who live in South Hattiesburg, Purvis, Oklahola, or anywhere in this area, because we have a strong damaging tornado now moving through the Pine Belt as our tornado warning continues now until 8:15. So this is a strong, dangerous situation. Unfortunately, exactly what we saw last week. And as we're tracking this storm towards Ralston, 4 points, Palmer's Crossing. I'm just going to zoom in here again. Here's Highway 49. There's the municipal airport there just to the south of Hattiesburg. And again, so here is downtown Hattiesburg in a severe thunderstorm warning for 2-inch hail. Just to the south of that, Palmer's Crossing, Dixie Pine, Hattiesburg Airport, the Richburg area included in the tornado warning. Now that goes until 8:15, where we have a significant tornado hugging the north side of this warning. So Oklahola looking to take a direct hit here along Highway 11. And it looks like the tornado is going to be crossing at Interstate 59 and Highway 98 east, going towards Alabama, Ralston, Belleville here. Highway 98 at 59, that's where the tornado is likely going to have the biggest impact. So again, Hattiesburg, South Hattiesburg, down to Purvis. This is the very heightened risk now for a strong tornado. And Ken, we're continuing to see significant winds in this tornado.
Yeah, we absolutely are. Here's a look at the radar, and within this, we are looking at the velocity, the wind speed, and the wind direction, and it's very clear where we have got that rotation right there. Very strong winds moving in this direction, and then on the opposite side of this, let's see if we can query some of those winds. Mentioned the wind speed just a second ago, and we'll query those winds. 64 and 44, that's at least over 100-mile-per-hour winds. But Jacob was mentioning that special statement by the Storm Prediction Center, and they were saying that they were estimating that the winds at the surface could be between 120 and 170 miles per hour. That would put it somewhere between an EF2 and an EF4 tornado. If you remember from last Sunday, we had 170-mile-per-hour winds that affected the Bassfield area, and that was an EF4 tornado. So we don't know that that's what's happening right now, but there's a very good chance that this is EF2, 3, or 4, which is now moving to the east, maybe a little bit north of east now at about 55 miles per hour. So that's nearly a mile a minute. It's moving quickly, so it's going to be near your area if you live along Interstate 59, Highway 11, south of Hattiesburg, eastern Lamar County, and the western part of Forest County very soon. So large, dangerous tornado. Let's go ahead and take this full screen, and I'm just going to read off the latest warning. Let's move this around a little bit so you can get, again, a good idea of where that rotation is. Now to the northwest of Purvis, and the latest warning coming from the National Weather Service reads like this. The storm is moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. This is a confirmed tornado by weather spotters. You are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to homes, businesses, and vehicles is likely, and complete destruction is possible. The storm expected to be around McLaurin at about 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. That's about 15 minutes from right now. To repeat, large and extremely dangerous and potentially deadly tornado is on the ground. To protect your life, take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you're outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. So the National Weather Service is saying this is an observed tornado. The damage threat is considerable, and it's also producing very large hail at about golf ball in size. So that's the situation that we're under right now in eastern Lamar and parts of Forest County between Purvis and Hattiesburg as it's moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour. I'm not seeing the debris like I did before. I think there's a little bit of an interference here, so I'm going to track this mainly with just the velocity right there, and it's really easy to pick up where we've got the rotation right there. You see that right there, northwest of Purvis, along that is Highway 589. So we're going to track this a little bit to the north and to the east of Purvis through Forest County. So doing that, this cone will go through Oklahoma and the airport, that's Bobby Chain Municipal Airport, that's the Hattiesburg Airport on the south side of the city, Ralston at 6 minutes after 8, and McCallum at about 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. Again, seek shelter right now because the storm is extremely dangerous. It is life-threatening, and if you live in any of those communities that we just mentioned, it is moving towards your area at a very fast pace at about 50 to 60 miles per hour, which is about a mile a minute, so it's not going to take long before the storm is right over your area. Let's get a closer look in. So you can see some of those communities and some of those roads that are popping up there like Highway 589 and Highway 11. It's right over that area right now on the north side of Purvis and on the south side of Hattiesburg. I think it's not going to hit Hattiesburg proper, but it's definitely getting into a more populated area on the south side of the hub city. You see all these communities that are popping up here along Interstate 59, along Highway 11 and Highway 98, like Richburg and Ralston and Four Points and Palmer's Crossing and the airport and Baston and right around the Wallace area. All of these places potentially could be impacted by this storm over the next several minutes. We're talking about right now, between now and about 15 minutes from now. Your current time is about 7:53. We expect it to pass over those areas between now and about 8:15. So we cannot emphasize this enough that this is an extremely dangerous situation. And on top of all this, of course, we're looking at large hail as well. Let's query some of the hail with this, and it should be over an inch in diameter, and it is. We're looking at hail, $half ping pong golf ball sized hail also being produced by this extremely intense severe thunderstorm, which is putting down a tornado moving from Lamar County very quickly into Forest County. That tornado warning will go until 8:15. Jacob, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Ken. So again, right now, the National Weather Service telling us that the tornado is now likely on top of Murrah Road and approaching State Highway 589. Here's 589, likely already passed. There's Oklahoma. And again, I'm a little bit concerned. I think that some of these areas may have a Hattiesburg address down here towards Richburg, Palmer's Crossing, Ken. I think that they may have a Hattiesburg address, if I'm correct. And so South Hattiesburg, especially, not downtown Hattiesburg, but South Hattiesburg down to 98, Ralston, down to the airport is right there near 4 Points. Again, this is a dangerous tornado, and we're not seeing debris right now, but I'm not going to do what we did last time and say that, well, because we're not seeing debris, it's not on the ground. This is a very unpopulated area of Lamar County that it has tracked through for the past 20 minutes, and I don't think that it would pick up too much debris. Likely trees would be all it would be hitting, but right now it is entering a major populated area, Okollah, Ralston, Richburg, Palmer's Crossing, in this tornado warning where we have its tight rotation. And as I query this for you, show you the winds in this storm right now. Again, 120 miles per hour or stronger winds. That's what the National Weather Service has told us. This could be a dangerous, deadly EF3 or higher tornado. We don't know that's what's happening. The scale is based on damage, but this can produce significant damage. It is likely still on the ground and moments away from crossing Interstate 59 right now between Purvis and Hattiesburg. No driving right now from Hattiesburg to the south on 49 or down towards Hattiesburg on 59. We have a strong, dangerous tornado in Okollah, back towards Richburg, Palmer's Crossing. The airport is right here. Ralston, Batson, McLaurin, all in this tornado warning. And again, This is a dangerous situation. We have had catastrophic damage already reported this storm. And again, we're looking like the National Weather Service saying that this is, they gave us one of those updates that this is an extreme tornado, very similar to what we saw on Easter Sunday now, except it is moving into Lamar and Forest counties. So again, Hattiesburg, South Hattiesburg, Highway 98, 49 down to McLaurin and Epps. Oklahoma, this is a dangerous situation. As we switch on our debris mode, right now, not seeing debris though. I'm not surprised that we're not seeing debris because this has moved through an unpopulated area here of Lamar County. Trees is all this has been impacting for the past 10 minutes. And if I'm right, which hopefully I'm not, we're going to see a debris signature momentarily as this nears U.S. Highway 11. And this is very dangerous, folks. It looks like the tornado is now tightened back up near Ocola. U.S. Highway 11, this is extreme winds that we're seeing now right here. And as we put these on for you, right next to each other, we are seeing 120-mile-per-hour winds between Richburg and Ocola here on U.S. Highway 11. Again, folks, the tornado is now seconds away from crossing Interstate 59 at Highway 98 East towards Ralston. The airport is there, Highway 49, South Hattiesburg. Please seek shelter immediately. We have a damaging tornado likely on the ground moments away from entering it's already in the Hattiesburg metro area. South Hattiesburg is going to be impacted in this. So Ocola, Richburg, Palmer's Crossing, and then we have the airport in this area as well. So what I'm going to do is put a forecast track on this. And again, this is moving at 55 miles per hour. And it looks like this is pushing off towards the north and east now. We've gotten a northerly component here. And so I'm going to update here with the times. And here we go. Ocola, 7:58. That is now 30 seconds away. 8:08, Ralston. 8:11, 4 Points. 8:15, Indian Springs. And 8:20, Tullahala. And again, we can estimate here Ralston is right near the airport. So at the airport at 8:07 and South Hattiesburg near Palmer's Crossing at 8:05. Folks, that is about 5 minutes away. You do not have much time to seek shelter with this dangerous tornado now moments away from crossing Interstate 59. And I wonder if our booth can put up, do we have a traffic camera near Hattiesburg or Purvis here on Interstate 59? We're going to be seeing, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, not surprising. All the MDOT cameras are non-operational because of the extreme winds. And Ken, I'm going to send it back over to you because this is a significant rotation that is now re-tightened back up.
Yeah, it is. And now the latest information that we've gotten from the National Weather Service is that they can't find the debris anymore, so they're dropping that tag. I don't think that makes really any difference. The latest warning that they issued saying that this is radar indicated, you should really still just consider that this is a tornado on the ground. The signature is so strong. It's just that they can't really confirm that it is by looking at the debris, but it is such a strong signature that you just have to treat this as if this is a tornado on the ground, and not just a tornado. We're talking about a large, violent tornado, likely EF2, 3, or possibly even stronger, and now it's moving into a populated area. So we just do not want you to take any kind of chances with the storm. We know that it was on the ground for at least a half an hour, if not more, tracking through parts of Marion and Lamar counties. And we've got the potential for that still as it tracks eastward into Forest County as well. The tornado warning will go until 8:15. I believe that is the latest. Let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen. And yeah, the latest warning we have is for Forest and East Central Lamar counties. That goes until 8:15. The storm capable of producing a tornado and golf ball sized hail. So storm once again will be near McLaurin at about 5 minutes after the top of the hour. And right now it is about 30 seconds before 8 o'clock. Yeah, Jacob?
And I think it's going to be north of McLaurin, Ken. I mean, based on the trajectory of this,
absolutely.
It's looking like the airport. So again, this is Ralston, the airport right there. And we're talking about the intersection of Highway 98 and 49. So right now you're looking at Ralston, Palmer's Crossing, South Hattiesburg needs to be in their tornado shelter. Right now we have a strong tornado that we're still assuming is on the ground. This looks no different than what was on the ground back in Marion County. And now tracking it out here at Ralston, 8:05. You have 5 minutes if you're near the airport in South Hattiesburg. Again, Bobby L. Chain Municipal, moments away, McCollum. It's going to be, right now likely on top of Interstate 59, Ken.
Yeah, so just trying to locate those areas as you were talking about those. The airport that we're talking about in Hattiesburg, it's within this cone that I just drew. We're taking a little bit north of east, and that's going to put it in the vicinity of the airport. in just a few minutes. Right now it's 8 o'clock, and it should be there, I would say, within 3 to 5 minutes as the storm is moving quickly off to the east at about 55 miles per hour. Here are some of the other places that are going to be in the path of the storm. Ralston, also at about 5 minutes after 8. McCallum at about 7 after 8. 4 Points at 8:09. And Indian Springs at about 8:13. Again, great signature of a rotation right there. This is a very dangerous situation, potentially a life-threatening situation, as this is moving toward or through a more populated area. When it was tracking through Marion and Lamar counties, mostly in a rural area, that is not the case anymore, as it's tracking a little bit to the north of east. And you can see all of these communities that are popping up here as we get a closer look into where the storm is. You didn't see that in the previous radar views when it was tracking through Marion and Lamar counties. Because it's now getting into Forest County, we're seeing much more of an impact as far as these communities are concerned along Highway 49, Highway 11, and Interstate 59. We're looking at Richburg, Palmer's Crossing, Ralston, 4 Points, Belleville, Indian Springs, Good Look, Carterville, all of those just on the south side of the city of Hattiesburg. In fact, here's Hattiesburg, and here's where we think the tornado is. It is directly 4 miles south of downtown Hattiesburg. That is way too close for comfort. So even if you live in the Hattiesburg area, and I believe you are under the official tornado warning, well, you're not, but you probably should be. It's right there on the very northern edge of the tornado polygon, this red polygon right there. That's where the tornado is. It's on the northern edge of that polygon. Hattiesburg, downtown, you're officially not in the warning area, and it likely will slide just to your south, but it, again, is really just too close to take any chances. This is potentially large and deadly tornado, which is going to be moving to the east very quickly at about 55, 60 miles per hour towards let's see, that's Highway 49, right along the intersection of Highway 49 and Highway 98, and really moving along Highway 98 as it approaches Perry County, which does not yet have a tornado warning, but that may soon be coming out as the storm looks to be holding together pretty well as it's headed off to the east. Jacob, over to you.
Yeah, so Ken, I'm continuing to watch here for debris signatures. So far, have not seen it. That's good news. But again, this is now just entering the populated area, and this debris tracker here is a couple minutes behind. So we're not going to go off that. We are getting wind signatures that show this is a dangerous tornado, and now right on the ground. And again, this is at the airport. Here is Interstate 59. Here is 9849. Hattiesburg is 3 miles to the north of here. There's the Hattiesburg Bobby L. Chain Airport. And right here is where we have rotation. We have 120-mile-per-hour winds right here crossing the interstate. As we kind of put these together here, 52, 64, that's 115 miles per hour. Moments away from crossing 49 and 98 east here, coming from 59. And again, we are on the south side of Hattiesburg here. And I'm just going to put the rotating spot right here. Zoom out so you can get slightly better context. Here is downtown Hattiesburg. Palmer's Crossing, right here is the airport. There's Ralston, Batson, 4 Points, in Indian Grove, I think is Indian Springs, excuse me. Here's the tornado right now. Has already crossed Interstate 59. And John, let me know if we get any damage, because I think that we're going to know pretty soon once this crosses the interstate, if it was on the ground. It's moving towards 49. Yeah, and it looks like that it's going to be crossing 49 shortly. The airport may be taking a direct hit in Hattiesburg. That's the Bobby L. Chain Airport there. And it looks like that we're getting some reports now in downtown Hattiesburg of large hail. Not a surprising threat here. But again, the damaging winds and this embedded tornado is now right on top of Ralston. Palmer's Crossing, Ralston. This is South Hattiesburg. Batson, 4 Points, the airport. This is now where the tornado is. So what I'm going to do here, zooming out a little bit, I'm going to put a forecast track on this. This is now moving towards the Richton area and moving off towards the east. It's going to be in Ralston at 8:07. That's 2 minutes away. You need to be in your safe place right now if you are south of essentially the Hattiesburg area here in Forest County. 4 Points, 8:10. Indian Springs at 8:14. McSwain there at 8:24. And Richton by 8:28. And this is, again, likely right now on top of Highway 49 and 98. And we just got the new tornado warning that has now been extended with downstream. And we are now getting a wind at the airport of 62 miles per hour, likely from the tornado. And radar indicated now near McLaurin, moving off towards the east. And we now have that tornado update for Forest County. And I guess we're now on the Mobile. Mobile is now issuing this tornado warning, which has just come out for the downstream area, including Richton. And so that is for Perry until 9 p.m. So Perry, you are now under the new tornado warning. That's Richton, New Augusta, likely going to be passing between those, crossing 29 and 15. But again, the imminent threat is right now at the Bobby L. Chain Airport here in Hattiesburg. The tornado is on top of the 49 and Highway 98 intersection, has already passed I-59. I'm curious if we're going to get any damage reports out of there. This is a very tight circulation, and our debris signature still not showing much. That may be good news, Ken, but it also may be way too high. If this may have lifted or not gotten debris, we may not have had enough time to get the debris thousands of feet. Again, when we saw it here, this is 10 to 15,000 feet in the air. It may take a couple of moments for us to get that debris up in the air. So we're watching a dangerous tornado right now, and it looks like that the emergency manager is saying that there is now over 100 people safely hunkered down there in the Hattiesburg safe room. So that is good news to hear. Hopefully everyone is seeking shelter. Again, right now we don't have confirmation this is on the ground because it moved through an unpopulated area, but we are seeing extreme rotation. There's the airport, there's Ralston, Batson, 4 points. You are 2 minutes away from seeing this dangerous tornado. And Ken, now this warning has been extended downstream into Perry County.
Yeah, and it has, and that newest warning is until 9 p.m. So right now it is 7 minutes after 8, and the new warning is going to go until the top of the next hour. Now, it may be through the county even before 9 o'clock. It's moving that quickly, although the forward motion, it keeps changing just a little bit. Every time one of these warnings will come out, it will be 50, 55 miles per hour, sometimes down to about 45, which is the case right now. The newest warning coming out of the National Weather Service out of Mobile, saying that this is moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. They're still calling it a radar indicated rotation, which means they're not seeing a debris signature right now, but it's such a good wind signature of a tornado, and we know that it was on the ground for at least a half hour leading up to this, that we still do have to believe that if it's not on the ground, it could be at a moment's notice once again. A lot of times these storms will put down a tornado, it will weaken, it will lift a little bit, and then it will put down another one a little bit farther downstream, in this case a little bit farther off to the east. So we have to assume that that could happen with this storm right now, because here you see the two tornado warnings. The one for central Forest County is until 8 o'clock. Obviously the rotation is right there, and then of course it's going to be headed into Perry County. Let's go ahead and take a look at this full screen. This is Live IMAX 2 full screen, because we're getting a little bit out of the Jackson area. You can see the purple shading right there in Perry County. That's called range folding. That tells us that we may have a better look at this from a different radar site. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up Mobile. Yeah, so this is looking at it from Mobile. There you see the arm of the radar now coming in. There you see it in Mobile, coming in from Mobile, and we can see a much better look at the storm from Mobile. There you see that arm once again. So just letting you know that we're analyzing this from yet a different radar site, not New Orleans, not Jackson. This is Mobile now, and there you see the rotation very clearly right there, very close to the airport in Forest County on the south side of the city of Hattiesburg. Now remember, the forward motion has changed just a little bit. It's at 45 miles per hour, so I'm going to plug that into Live IMAX 12, and we're going to track this storm again farther to the east. So here's the rotation. We know where it is. It's right around the airport, Ralston, 4 points, right along I believe that's Highway 98, as it's getting closer and closer to Perry County. Right now it's in Forest County. It's about 4 miles or about 5 minutes away from crossing the county line from Forest into Perry County, and it's about 11 minutes away or about 9 miles away from crossing Highway 29. Should be north of New Augusta. But remember, these storms, while we know they're generally moving off to the east, they can move north of east. And so in that case, it can move either directly to the east or a little bit north of there. So anywhere between Indian Springs and New Augusta, we want you to take precaution as the storm is going to be moving toward and across your area very soon. Let's go ahead and track this out with our cone here. This is where the Rotation this is where the radar indicated tornado is. We'll track it out to the right portion of the screen over the next 22 minutes. And these are the places that we're talking about now. Sweet Pilgrim Church at about 8:16. That's only about 6 minutes from right now. And there you see that landmark is popping up within the cone right there. That's Sweet Pilgrim Church, right on the county line of Forest and Lamar County. Rotating part of the storm is right there. So again, it's just really a few miles away from crossing that area. Now, it's a little bit farther away from places like New Augusta Elementary School in Wingate and Seminary Church. So you do have some lead time to get to your safe spot in those areas. Let's go ahead and clear this up once again. And I'm going to put this into motion for you so you can see how the storm has been tracking right there at about 7:50. That's where the storm was when it was just to the northwest of Purvis. Let's track it out in time. There you see it passing north of Purvis, crossing Highway 11, and then right there it gets kind of into the range folding area right there on the south side of the city of Hattiesburg, and then it emerges, and we can see it better from the Mobile radar site right there. That is Highway 49 and Highway 98, right around that intersection, and then we'll take it out to current time, and right now it's moving right along Highway 98. So it's right at about this area, moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. So clearly it's been tracking to the east, maybe just a little bit north of there over the past several minutes. So if we continue that path farther downstream to the north and east, you can see the direction it's going to be moving. It should pass to the north of New Augusta, but again, it's going to be too close for you to take any chances if you're there, and it should pass between Richton and Beaumont along Highway 15 in the eastern part of Perry County, and it's going to take it about 15 minutes to get, 20 minutes. It's about 15 miles away from crossing Highway 15 in eastern Perry County between Richton and Beaumont. Seek shelter right now from this dangerous storm as it's approaching your area. Again, just a few minutes away from crossing from Forest into Perry County, around 4 points south of Indian Springs and along Highway 98 near Belleville, Maneed, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and also New Augusta. Anywhere between New Augusta and Indian Springs, you should be sheltered right now from the storm. John, are you ready? Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the storm moving off to the east. Let's take a look at the hail associated with this. We'll take a look at the hail tracks, and we are looking at still very large hail being produced by the storm. We'll query this, and we're looking at least 1 inch in diameter hail. That's about quarter-sized hail, but the last information that we had with this is that it could be producing up to ping-pong ball-sized hail, in addition to that radar-indicated rotation, which means that there's likely a tornado on the ground in this area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the velocity once again. Again, this is analyzing it from the radar site out of Jackson. Let's do that one more time, and there you see it right there, still popping up very clearly along and north of Highway 98, now south and east of the Hattiesburg area. Just kind of curious to see if there are any storm reports that are being produced by the storm. Yeah, we're getting a couple of those right now. That was in the storm's path as it was tracking across Marion County. I'll query some of those, and power poles down and snapped along the Highway 35 here, and then this one a little bit farther to the east. Tornado was seen crossing Highway 13 north of the spotter location, and debris was falling from the sky at that time. So we've gotten some damage reports here south of Columbia in Marion County. I'm afraid we're probably going to see more of that as the storm we know is on the ground as it tracked north and east across Lamar County and into the Forest County area just to the south of Hattiesburg. All right, so let's take all of this off once again, and we're going to just look at the radar now. Take off the hail, and we're just looking at the velocity coming out of Mobile, and we're going to try to pinpoint exactly where it is. And as we zoom in, we'll see those communities once again along Highway 98, eastern Forest and western parts of Perry County being impacted by this severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. Again, that's the last information that we've gotten with this storm, is that it's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. And there you see the radar updating. So right now, just now crossing the county line into Perry County. Let's track it off to the east there. And this is Highway 15. So between now and 8:32, it's going to be moving from the county line back over to Highway 15. And these landmarks or communities are going to be impacted by the storm. If it moves directly to the east at 45 miles per hour, we're looking at Providence Church at about 8:19, Calvary Church at 8:26, Hintonville at 8:31, and Union Church at about 8:32, which again is only about 15 minutes from right now. John, I'll send it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Ken. I wanted to take a step back here and take a look at the big picture here right now, because we're not just having to contend with this tornado warning down here in Perry County. We're continuing to see thunderstorms training right along the U.S. Route 98 corridor. There was briefly a severe thunderstorm warning down in Marion County. There was a severe thunderstorm that was dropping some radar-indicated large hail. That has been replaced now with a flash flood warning as well. That includes portions of Marion, right through Lamar, right through Forest County, where this tornado has been tracking. So this is becoming a dangerous situation now. We're not just having to contend with debris and power lines and that stuff blocking roadways and highways down here in our southern tier and Pine Belt counties. There now could be several locations where there is flash flooding and water over the roadway. And now that the sun has gone down, it makes it far more difficult to see that water over the roadway. And where there is the water over the roadway, again, we say turn around, don't drown, because that water can be a lot deeper than it looks, and it can be moving a lot more quickly than it looks. It only takes 6 to 10 inches of water to start washing away a car. Looking in here now, it looks like the severe thunderstorm warning has been retired for Forest County, but you're still having to contend with very heavy rain right now, moving right across the Interstate 59 corridor, all the way from Hattiesburg down to where Interstate 59 moves just to the east of Purvis down toward Lumberton as it makes its sojourn all the way down into New Orleans. Flash flood warnings in effect for that area as well. Looking here to Perry County, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for communities like Richton down into Beaumont, and that is where the tornado warning remains in effect. We're going to zoom in here. I'm going to take a look down here, pull up the Mobile velocity indicator. Looks like here this couplet not quite as tight as it's been, but still is showing a broad rotation here, moving its way from Forest County. It looks like it has passed into Perry County right now. I'm going to zoom in here, see if we can't get a little bit of a better idea of some of the communities. Looks like it's going to be passing just to the north of New Augusta, and I'm going to pull up, see what this highway is right here. This is Mississippi Route 29, north of where it's going to intersect Mississippi Route 98, and it's moving in the direction of 15 as well. So this is what is going on right now in Perry County. Now, one bit of good news, much of Perry County is pretty sparsely populated. It is not one of our more densely populated counties, but no travel advised up and down Mississippi Route 29, because even if this tornadic vortex has not touched the ground, there could still be some very gusty and dangerous winds moving its way across this highway, which could be bringing down large tree limbs and could be blocking the roadway as well, could bring down the power lines as well. Remember, one of the things we emphasize with severe weather is that just because a severe thunderstorm doesn't have a tornado, or it doesn't have a tornado on the ground, doesn't mean it still isn't dangerous. We need to remember March 4th, straight line winds caused significant damage in places like Flora all the way over to Canton in Madison County. So it looks like the velocity in Mobile has just updated. Looks like this rotation has just crossed Mississippi Route 29 north of New Augusta. Very heavy rain falling in the area right now. I'm going to zoom this out a bit, take a little bit of a better look at the animation right now. So it is moving in kind of an east-northeastern direction right now, on its way way toward Mississippi Route 15, south of Richton and north of Beaumont. So again, not quite as tight of a rotation here, but still could be some very, very gusty winds getting down toward the surface here. This is a tornado that has a history of debris over in Marion County. Several roads have been blocked by tree limbs down in the roadway. We're right now investigating if there was any damage over at the Hattiesburg Chain Municipal Airport, as this tornado looks like it passed right over that area just south of the Hattiesburg region right now. I'm going to pull up the debris tracker. Nothing really convincing right now, which is kind of an indication that this tornado may not be on the ground. But then again, this is a relatively sparsely populated area, and quite likely the only things it may be throwing up into the air, if it is on the ground, is tree debris. Now, of course, this debris tracker is one of the features of the LiveEye Max 12 satellite and radar. What we're showing here for folks who may be kind of confused about what this is, the radar is kind of trying to guess what it is seeing in the atmosphere. Where you see red coloration, that's where the radar is guessing that it is seeing liquid water. But if we were seeing some blue colors in here, that's where the radar is looking at it and thinking, this doesn't look like water, this looks like something else. So it looks like not a whole lot of debris being kicked up north of New Augusta, but very likely some very, very heavy rain. History of large hail as well in these areas as well. I'm going to go back to our radar right now. I'm going to zoom back in down into the Pine Belt region, and keep in mind we still have heavy rain moving across much of the rest of the region. We have some very frequent lightning as well. In fact, this is very impressive lightning moving its way through the Hattiesburg area right now. So even though the tornado danger has passed off to the east of Forest County into Hattiesburg, still contending with very heavy rain, flash flood warning, and very frequent lightning as well. Frequent lightning, it can cause structure fires as well. You know, be prepared for that, because this is a multimodal severe weather system moving its way through your neck of the woods right now. So we're going to be continuing to monitor this until it departs. And in fact, it looks like the tornado warning has just been extended into, I believe this is Greene County, east of Perry County right now. So even though this is not in the WHLT viewing area, if you know folks down here in northern Greene County, I'm going to zoom this in right now, get a better view at what some of the communities are in here. Again, this is not a particularly populated part of the state, but going to take a look here. This is Mississippi Route 42, 63 in the direction of state lines. So this tornado warning continues to be expanded off to the east out of Perry County into northern Greene County as well. Want to take a look at the hail tracker here, because we have been seeing indications of large hail. Right now, it looks like I'm going to pause this. New Augusta, it looks like we're looking at some hail moving into your area right now. I'm going to query this. Radar is estimating a 1-inch size hail. That's about quarter size hail in the New Augusta area. So if you are traveling along this highway here between New Augusta and Beaumont, that is US Highway 98, you're going to be contending with some large hail as well. I'm going to move this over so we can see just a little bit better right there. New Augusta, where we see these light and darker blue colorations, where we're seeing some quarter-size hail. So not just the tornado, not just the gusty winds we have to contend with, heavy rain, frequent lightning, and hail moving into New Augusta right along US Highway 98. Ken, I'm going to throw it back over to you for an update from your corner.
All right, thank you, John. Lots of good information there. We are now getting reports in from Forest County. Lots of things happening there right now. Of course, the storm passed through there just a short time ago. So we are getting reports that along Highway 49, just past West 4th Street, that that road has now been closed northbound. That happened at about 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. So that road has been closed now for about the past 15 minutes. Again, that's Highway 49 past West 4th Street. It's been closed due to flooding in that area. We're also getting reports in National Weather Service chat of lots of trees down. As you can imagine, as that storm was passing through this area, we knew it was on the ground. We knew it was producing debris. Well, it looks like lots of trees down, trees on cars, trees on houses. houses in some places, and looks like some water rescues are now happening through the city of Hattiesburg. Again, the rotating part of the storm passing south of the city of Hattiesburg, but they certainly did get hail and a lot of heavy rain in a short amount of time. So they have seen a pretty big impact in the Hattiesburg area, in the hub city. Again, trees down all over the place and flooding happening right now in the hub city. And of course, we're likely going to be assessing damage from the storm in the days ahead, as we know it was on the ground for at least a half hour, if not more, across the Plain Belt. In fact, here's a look at Live Eye Max 2 full screen. And we're going to take this back to about 7:21. Notice that's the time here at the top of the screen. And what I have circled here in Marion County, south of Columbia, is a debris signature. That was, again, at 7:21. It was a little over an hour ago. So we can track this off to the northeast, and I'll continue to circle where the tornado was on the ground producing debris. We know it was on the ground in Marion County, south of Columbia, then crossing over into Lamar County, but right about let's say right in here, right around, let's say just before 8 o'clock, we couldn't find a really solid debris signature with the storm, and that's where they dropped the tag that this was an observed tornado, but still a very strong wind signature with this storm. So still a dangerous storm, but we know it has been producing damage in Marion County, likely produced damage in Lamar County, and now we're getting reports from Forest County of lots of trees down and flooding in that area from Hattiesburg and points south. Now we'll go into the current time, and we know the storm right now is in Perry County, but if you're looking at the debris signature, again, we don't see anything that really stands out at us, which is excellent news, but that doesn't mean that this isn't still a dangerous storm, so much so that the warning has been extended downstream from Perry into Greene County. Now, Greene County is a little bit out of our area, so we're going to follow this as it moves through Perry County, and then we're going to let our sister stations take up the warning from there on out. But we can't find it just by looking at the debris signature. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to look at velocity mode coming in from Mobile, because that's the radar that this is closest to right now. So again, analyzing this from the radar site in Mobile, and yes, by looking at the wind signature, by looking at the velocity, by looking at how the winds are moving within the storm, how they're moving in opposite directions close to one another right here, we can tell that there is still definitely rotation indicated with the storm. Winds are moving away from the radar site in Mobile with the red shaded area, and the green shaded area closer to New Augusta. Those are winds moving toward the radar site. Now, this does not look as good as it did. When I say good, it does not look as prominent as it did several minutes ago when it was moving through Marion and Lamar and then Forest County. So that may be a good sign, but there's still enough of an indication of rotation there that the warning was extended farther to the east across the county line into Greene County. But again, we're going to track this as long as it's in Perry County in the WHLT viewing area. So we will zoom in a little bit more. The rotating part of the severe thunderstorm is likely right along Highway 15 and the Hintonville area, let's say between McSwain and Kittrell. So we'll circle that right there, and then we are going to track this out to the north and east over the next, let's say, 10 minutes or so, because I think that's going to take it within 10 minutes. It should take it into the adjacent county to the east. That would be Greene County. This is a pretty small cone, and it's a rural area of eastern Perry County, so only a couple of places, a couple of landmarks pop up here, and that's Bethlehem Church at about, well, right now at about 8:29, so it's right over Bethlehem Church right now, and it's approaching Nazareth Church at about 8:34, so it's about, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes away from passing over Nazareth Church, and there you see where that is right there. You see that icon popping up right there. That's pretty close to the county line. So we're going to be tracking this for about the next 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to return you to regular programming. Our sister stations in Mobile, Meridian will then be able to pick up the track of this storm. So let's clear this off once again, and we'll just take a look at the radar from Mobile. This is our view from Mobile We'll turn on the radar right there, and let's turn on the lightning strikes as well. We'll adjust the size of the lightning strikes so it doesn't completely cover up the radar. And again, just by looking at the radar, or excuse me, the lightning strikes, you can see exactly how intense this storm is. We'll query the amount of lightning in Perry County, and it's likely going to be hundreds of lightning strikes from Richton back over to Beaumont. In the past several minutes, we've seen 342 lightning strikes. So you need to be inside, obviously, as the storm is coming on through. You should be sheltered, in fact, right now because you're under a tornado warning, and you should be hearing those tornado sirens. But in addition to that, we've got torrential downpours that could produce flash flooding, and also dangerous lightning and large hail as well being produced by this storm as it's moving to the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour and quickly approaching the Greene County area. John, we'll send it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Ken. Again, want to take a look at the big picture here, what's going on here. Heavy rain and storms have been moving their way across the southern tier and the Pine Belt, pretty much the U.S. Route 98 corridor. We have been talking about the tornado warning. Right now, though, I want to take a look at the rainfall that has fallen. This is why we're getting a lot of reports of flooding in the Hattiesburg area. Heavy rain fell right along Route 98 between Columbia and Hattiesburg. And in fact, here's a radar estimate of how much rainfall in just south of Columbia. Estimated about 5 inches of rain fell within about a 3-hour period. These are about 3-hour radar estimates. About maybe 2.5 or a little over 2 inches of rain in the Hattiesburg area, just south of Hattiesburg. Now, this may not sound like super high amounts of rain, but this rain fell in a very, very short period of time, which is why we continue to have flash flood warnings in effect pretty much right from Marion in Columbian County, where you see this swath of the heavy rain that fell. Many inches of rain over a short period of time, and the rain is still falling. We're still seeing heavy rain moving its way along U.S. Route 98. Now, none of these are severe warned storms, but it doesn't matter. We already have so much water on the ground right now that we are seeing flash flooding across the region, water over roadways. Some cars have been swamped as well. We're saying turn around, don't drown, because now that the sun has set, we are that water becomes so much more difficult to see, especially when it's still raining out there. Sometimes it's hard to see if you're seeing raindrops hitting asphalt or if you're seeing raindrops hitting water on the roadway. Of course, here is the tornado warning here in Perry County. We're going to zoom in right here. Again, rotation here right now looks like it's in the Richton area in northeastern Perry County. Right now, probably getting pretty windy right there. And again, not the tightest of rotations here, but enough of a rotation that the Weather Service felt that it was justified that there should be a tornado warning, because this could be reaching the ground in the Richton area in northeastern Perry County. It's going to continue to move its way to the east into Greene County, where the tornado warning has been extended. This is going to be moving out of here in the next several minutes. We're going to be staying with you until this tornado warning is allowed to expire, which should be in just a couple of minutes. Now, one thing that is going on elsewhere across the region right now, I'm going to pull up the weather advisories that we continue to have, because this weather event is not over. We have flash flood watches in effect for most of our counties along and north of Interstate 20. That includes the Jackson Metro. They're still expecting some heavy rain to be continuing to fall. We have the tornado watch that's in effect for much of our area along and south of Interstate 20. And then, of course, we have the tornado warning right here. And we also have the flash flood warnings as well, because this event is not over as we speak. I'm going to pull the radar back up, want to take a look and see what kind of, if we're continuing to see any hail falling with this right now. I'm going to pull off the precipitation accumulation, and we have the hail right now. Looks like right along U.S. Route 98 near New Augusta in the Beaumont areas, continuing to see some potentially large hail falling right now. Radar estimating about just under 1-inch size hail. So this is just about maybe smaller than a quarter. A U.S. quarter coin is about 1 inch in diameter. And we're still seeing hail along Route 98 in the New Augusta area. area. The radar estimating also about quarter-inch hail along 98 between New Augusta and Beaumont. Now, of course, this is a radar estimate, and the radar is looking up into the cloud. This doesn't necessarily mean that quarter-size hail is actually hitting the ground, as the hailstones do tend to melt as they drop down. And of course, this is looking well up into the clouds. However, this is not just the tornado. We have a whole lot going on right now. As I take off the hail, looks like the tornado warning has been trimmed. I'm going to pull all this off here. It has been trimmed. Query this right now. It has been trimmed to right now. It does include the Richton area and pretty much all up and down. This is Mississippi Route 15 between Richton and Beaumont right now. So this tornado event has come to an end, at least in the western half of Perry County, but no travel advised right now up and down Mississippi Route 15 between Richton and Beaumont, where there is continuing to be rotation being detected with this storm. We're also still contending with that potential for hail, and there's also a flash flood warning in Perry County as well. And this rain is going to be continuing to fall over the next several hours. This is not going to be done until we probably get until about the midnight hour or an hour or so after that. We're going to want to pull back up the velocity indicator down here in Mobile. Here we go. This is from our Mobile radar site. Still continuing to see a broad rotation east of the Richton area. It looks like it is now crossing the county line from Perry over into Greene County. So if you do have family and friends who live in Greene County, many folks who live in the WHLT viewing area do, make sure you give them the heads up that there could be, at the very least, there is going to be heavy rain, the potential for hail and frequent lightning. And then, of course, here we still have this rotation here that could be bringing some very gusty winds down to the surface. Again, even without a tornado, if this is not reaching the ground, still a potentially dangerous situation. As we like to emphasize, we may always make the big deal out of tornadoes. Severe thunderstorms without tornadoes can be just as dangerous as storms with them, and that is why we continue to take the situation very seriously and continue to track this off to the east. Folks in northern Greene County, where the tornado warning is continuing, need to be getting into their safe spots right now, just in case this tornado starts to tighten and spin up again. This tornado has been around since Pike and Walthall County, so this has moved across most of the width of Mississippi from about the Macomb area in Pike County all the way now. It has now made it to the last county in Mississippi along U.S. Route 98 as it makes its way into northern Greene County. I'm going to pull the watch and warning box up again. That tornado warning still in effect for Mississippi Route 15 between Richton and Beaumont. However, this is likely to be retired shortly, as it looks like that primary rotation is now just starting to cross the county line over into northern Greene County in the direction of the community of State Line and Fruitdale before it then makes the rest of its way off over into southwestern Alabama. It looks like Chief Meteorologist Ken South has a couple of updates over from his corner of the studio. Take it, Ken.
All right. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. We are seeing a little bit of good news if we're looking at the entire state. If we broaden out the scene just a little bit and notice back here to the west, the rain has come to an end over a good portion of Louisiana, and the severe weather threat is coming to an end from west to east. And a lot of parishes in Louisiana, some counties in Mississippi, Texas, have been taken out of these tornado watches. Now, we've got a tornado watch here until 10 o'clock, and then a little bit farther to the east to include the eastern part of the Pine Belt until 11 o'clock. And right now, it's about 20 minutes before 9 o'clock. So our severe weather threat quickly ending as we go through the next hour or two. And really, we're going to be looking at the leading edge of this line for the strongest winds and the potential for tornadoes. And that's passing now south of Hattiesburg and east of Hattiesburg, moving into the Alabama area. Let's get a closer look in to the tornado warned area. We still officially do have that tornado warning for Perry County from Richton back over to Kittrell along Highway 15. But I want to take a look at, first of all, the reflectivity there. Obviously, still a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning strikes, gusty winds. But if you take a look at the velocity here, we can clearly see that the rotation has passed to the east into the adjacent county to the east. That is Greene County, and that's where we still do have a tornado warning. let's see that last warning right there. We'll query that. And that tornado warning for Greene County is until 9:15. So pretty much the threat is now done in terms of a tornado in Perry County, although obviously this area is still seeing a lot of rain. There's going to be a flash flooding threat. There's going to be a hail threat, a wind threat in the Pine Belt over the next couple of hours. But because the rotating part of this severe thunderstorm is now clearly to the east of us in Greene County, it's a little bit out of our area. So we're going to be able to let some other folks handle it from here on out, either in Marion or Mobile. For our area, again, the threat from a tornado is diminished, although you still see that we are under a tornado watch, and we've got flash flood warnings across the Pine Belt from Marion County points east to include Lamar, Forest, and Perry counties. Let's query this, and these flash flood warnings are going to go until 11 p.m. Tonight. We've seen a couple of inches of rain in this area over a very short amount of time. It's still raining very heavily in some areas, so we are going to see this threat continue at least through the evening until about 11 o'clock. And remember, we have had reports from the Hattiesburg area of some water rescues that have been taking place earlier tonight, and lots of damage, a lot of trees down in this area. As we know, a tornado was on the ground for at least a half an hour through parts of the Pine Belt. So for right now, we're going to send you back to regular programming, but remember, we're going to be here watching the situation. If we have another tornado warning, we'll break in. In lieu of that, we're just going to break in at the top and the bottom of the hour when we're not in a newscast. And of course, we're going to have a newscast at 9 o'clock and also at 10 o'clock, so you can get the very latest of what's been happening weather-wise across the state of Mississippi with those newscasts. Of course, we've got reporters out and about efforting pictures from these areas, and we'll have a complete wrap-up of what's been happening weather-wise with the storm on our newscast a little bit later on tonight. And hopefully, once we get into the 11, certainly the midnight hour, the severe weather threat should end and certainly pass by to the east of us. But for right now, we're going to send you back to regular programming.